Everyone, and welcome to another episode of Nothing's for No One. It's me, Jay.
And me, Bill.
Dr. Bill in the house. We have vanilla Coca-Cola and Fresca, grapefruit citrus original flavor. And here we are, August 1st of 2021. Welcome to the show. You went to a movie by yourself.
I did. I finally did it.
I can't believe that's the first time you've done that. So
yeah,
I've done that before you, which is nuts.
I mean, I'm not surprised by that. I just don't like doing a lot of stuff by myself. Like I was thinking about, like I've like missed out on like parties for friends and stuff because like I had nobody to go with.
Yeah,
and I just don't go because I don't want to go by myself.
I know. Yeah,
I don't like it, and then like, and it's weird because it's not like I have a problem talking to people, and I'm not like a shitty person, but it's just like I know at some point there's gonna be a lull, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah,
and that is the most awkward, anxious-inducing thing ever. And I just be like, I'm just not gonna go, and I avoid that altogether. Sure. You know, but it sucks because then I miss out on like
shit that you don't want to miss out on,
which is a bummer. And I feel bad because I never really explained that to friends before, but like I've definitely bailed on so many things because I was like, oh, I'm gonna go by myself, and so now I'm not gonna go. Because I have so many friends from like all over. Like it's not like I have one clique of friends. I have multiple friends. Yeah. And so like sometimes, you know, like, and then I don't want to like bring somebody from another group over because it's like, this might be awkward for them too. Like it would suck, you know, like, or some of those friends are just shitty, you know, would be shitty to those friends or vice versa.
Sure.
Just because they don't get along for whatever reason, which I've had happen plenty of times at like birthdays and stuff. And it's always awkward, like between people.
I've only been to a handful of Faye birthday celebrations now. Mm-hmm. I've been to about 4 or 5 of them, I want to say.
There's always some weird altercation.
If there is, maybe I don't see it then. Or maybe it's just people I don't even fucking know.
It's never anything that's like, I don't even notice it. Yeah. I never notice it. I don't notice it until later when I start talking to people that they're like,
and then they're like,
oh so-and-so, like, what the fuck's up with that guy? And I'm like, what? And then they're just like, oh, they did this or this and that. I was like, and then I have to explain. I'm like, that's just kind of like how they are. Like, they're not a bad person. Yeah. It's just like, you guys just clash personality wise. Sure. You're both good people. Otherwise, I wouldn't be hanging out.
Obviously.
But, you know, certain people. But yeah, no, going back. So, like, I always, like, I didn't like doing stuff on my own. I just don't. I hate doing it. Like, I like doing something with somebody.
Yeah, it's better. I agree.
Unfortunately, most of my life is pretty, like, solitary. So, like, I've missed out on a lot of things. I missed out on a lot of movies. And, like, going to the movie theater, to me, is way more important than going to, like, a show, like a concert.
Sure.
So, for me, last night, that was, like, the greatest ththing ever. Because I hadn't done it for over a year. Like, the equivalent of, like, a lot of our friends that have been, like, so stoked to go to shows. That's how I felt about going to a movie.
Yeah.
Because I love going, like, and I was telling somebody, I was like, it's just like my policy with pizza. Like, I don't give a fuck if it's good, bad, what's on good. It. Yeah. If we're having pizza, I'm stoked. I'm going to eat it.
Sure.
Same thing with movies. Like, as long as it's in a movie theater, I'll fucking watch it. I don't care if it's got a fucking 10% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. Like, doesn't mean shit to me.
It's a sick experience.
I love it. It's so much more fun than watching a movie, like, at my place or even at a friend's place. Like, I don't even care if my friend has a fucking 80-inch screen TV.
Yeah, it's still
the most
better.
Dopest like sound system. Doesn't matter. It's not.
Yeah, it's not the same. You don't get that buttery chemical smell. You don't get that fucking awkward bathroom experience. You know what I mean?
I
like,
worry about that.
I don't either, but I just love it. I mean, I haven't been. Well, I went to that one. I was talking about it a couple weeks ago when I went to go see Clifford, but that was like outside on a patio at the music box. Like, it didn't even feel like I was at the theater.
Right.
I just felt like I was at like
backyard.
Yeah, like I was just at like a bar that had like fucking a projector screen, you know? Right. But yeah, I agree with that. And I think that's one of those experiences that's like still unreplicated, you know? Like it still hasn't gone out of business because I also people still like that.
I don't know, like I think people like your age and younger don't seem to like care about going to the movies as much. Like you guys had more.
Definitely.
You grew up more with like streaming and stuff.
Sort of. Like, I feel like I'm the last generation of the fucking non-streaming shit.
I mean, last night there was only like maybe a dozen people tops, and they were all like my age and older.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, I remember when I was like younger, like Saturday night at the movie theater, that's like the shit. Like I remember even like not that long ago, like I remember going there and and dreading it because there were a bunch of fucking like teenagers and shit. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. And like, I remember like one time we were in LaGrange and like there was like a high school reunion going on behind us in the middle of the movie. And I was just like, yo, shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah, that sucks.
I paid taxes longer than you've been alive. Like, shut the fuck up.
I wanna watch this.
Jesus Christ. Which that was another thing I was dreading because I was like,
where did you go?
I went to Oak
Brook. Okay.
Yeah. I figured that's a hoity-toity enough place that like,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
So like, but yeah, it's also
I don't even
because
think I've
like,
ever been there. Where is that theater?
you know where 16th Street is?
Vaguely.
It's like off of there.
Okay.
And then like the Purple Garage, I guess. I don't know. It's a pretty sick setup. Like,
yeah.
I had been there once.
Is it in Yorkville? The Yorkville Mall?
No, Oak Brook.
Oak Brook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Off of like 22nd and 83rd. Closer to 16th.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But it's like sick as fuck. Like I've only been there like once before.
Yeah.
And it was a while ago. And so then this time I went, you go to the parking structure. It's like the purple one is the one that's like connected to the theater more or less.
Yeah.
You literally just drive up this like ramp that's a direct shot to the theater.
Uh-huh.
Park your car, go up this escalator, and you're right there.
Oh, that's it.
You literally just walk right into the theater. I'm like, this is so great.
That's awesome.
It was so awesome. And there was like nobody there, which I think is like
also sick.
That was cool. Yeah, I think like it's like I said, like it might be a generational thing, but it also might be a COVID thing too that people don't want to go to.
COVID thing too, and Lala was this weekend, and
I didn't think of that too.
You know, and it was like a beautiful weekend for the most part. Like I think people just wanted to be outside.
That's fair.
You know, this time of year is like
the
time.
That.
Yeah, exactly. So a perfect time to like go to see a movie, cool and isolated. But
yeah, because like I think I mentioned before, like I was gonna sign up for one of those like movie theater subscriptions or whatever, but then COVID happened.
Yeah.
Like last year, I finally
what subscription? Like
A-list with AMC.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like the best deal, I would say.
Yeah.
Comparatively with the better theaters, I would say. Like
Cinemark does one and doesn't like Crown Theater. What's that fucking? What am I trying to think of? What is it called?
I know
the
what
one
you're
on Western.
saying.
You know what I'm talking about?
Isn't it like Royal?
Regal Cinema. Yeah.
Which I'm trying to think. The only Cinemark I can think of was the Melrose Park one, which is a theater I've frequented a lot, but it's not like a great theater. It's kind of an outdated theater.
Oh yeah, I remember when it was new.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I used to go there all the time when I went to Triton College because like we did like the early bird specials.
Oh fuck!
Because like my classes would get out
$4
early.
or whatever.
Yeah, it was awesome. So
did they give you a student discount?
No, because it was so cheap.
Oh, okay,
it's like $3 or something.
Yeah, sick.
And me and my buddy used to go all the time, which I love. Like I said, I just love like going to movie theater.
Sure.
I've done it like all my life. I loved it. Like even when I was like a little kid, I remember like with my mom, we go up to the Forest Park Mall. There was a theater in back where the church is now.
Oh,
and it was just shit. Like we go there, go to a little like food court, get a hot dog and like stuff, and like this is way cheaper than buying like the crap in there, you know?
Yeah.
And like we'd eat in the food court, and then we go watch whatever movie. Like we didn't even go with the intent of like, oh, we're gonna go see this movie.
Sure.
We just went and we're like, whatever is gonna be on around the time we're gonna be there, we'll go.
We'll just go.
Which I loved. I did that all the time with my mom. I used to just walk up there and do that.
That's cool.
And it didn't matter. I didn't care what we were watching. I just liked being in a movie theater, and I like still do. That's like the funny thing. Like I love it, and so. But it sucks because like now that I'm getting older, people tend to like not want to do that kind of stuff anymore. Like they don't seem to give a shit unless it's like the end all be all of movies, you know? Because they're like, oh, I don't want to waste my money.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I get it, time is precious or whatever. And so like at this point, asking anybody to go just feels like an inconvenience to be like, hey, and then coordinating it just kind of sucks. Which is part of the reason why like I even did that because my friend Alex is back in town. I haven't fucking seen her at all since she's been back. I saw her once by accident because I was driving back from a job and she was just walking with some other friend. And I was like, I don't even know who the fuck that was. And I was like, all right, what's up? Like, all right. And she was like, I'll hit you up later, and never followed through. And I was like, all right, cool. And she mentioned like, oh, I want to get back. We'll go see Black Widow. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like, and
I remember you were telling me you were
totally for it. And I was like, you know what? I was like, she's the worst to like plan and like expect like to follow through with something. So I was like, fuck this, I'm just gonna go because I had Saturday night off. I went and saw my friends Brian and Rosie and the boys.
Nice.
Which that was awesome. Rosie texted me later and said that the boys did their before bed prayers and I got thrown in there, which is pretty sweet.
Nice.
So even though I don't believe in God, he now has to look out for me because the two little dudes said to.
Yeah.
I got that going for me.
De facto, dude.
And but yeah, so I was like, fuck this. I was like, there's a showing at like 9:45. I got home, I think around like 7. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna work on some music, and then fuck this. I'm gonna go. Like, fuck this. Let's
Nice.
just do it.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
I was like going back and forth. I was like, oh man, shit. It's like,
Yeah.
sucking. I was like, people be shitty there, and I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know if I should do this. Like, kind of talking myself out of it. And then finally, I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I was gonna do it last year. Like, I'm just gonna do it. What's the worst that's gonna, gonna happen?
yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was cool. So yeah, I went by myself. There was like maybe 12 people there. The movie was awesome. It was a Marvel film, so like, of course, like, I had to see it. I've made it this far watching like all of them in theater. Like, I didn't want to like not watch that one in theater.
Yeah, it's awesome. Did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Yeah, I thought it was really good. Like,
Sweet.
my buddy Nick already saw it.
Is it streaming anywhere?
And Disney, but you have to pay extra.
Oh, really? Even if you have a subscription? How much extra do you pay?
Don't quote me, but I want to say $30, which seems like a hefty like fee for a movie, any movie. I don't care what it is. I could be wrong. I know it's a lot. Like, it's not cheap. It might be 20, which is still expensive. Like, it was cheaper for me to go to the movie theater, like, which that's interesting. Did you see like that whole controversy? So a lot of time with movies, with the stars and stuff, they'll do a thing where they get points on a movie, just like a musician gets points on an album.
Like
so it was
publishing
album
or
sales
something?
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because Scarlett Johansson is an executive producer on that movie, right?
Yeah,
So-
isn't she like in protest of it right now or something?
Because they gave her that deal of box office like earnings,
Yeah.
she gets a percentage, right?
Sure.
But that's only box office earnings. It's done pretty well streaming wise. She doesn't get a fucking dime.
Oh, that's some horse
And
shit.
that's why she's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm sure that's the contract. So like,
Yeah.
but that's all hindsight. Like, she never, when she made this, they definitely,
I had
COVID
no
wasn't like
idea.
a thing.
Yeah,
Streaming like that was not a thing,
I'm sure.
And so like, it's just interesting. Even like what's his name? The head of the Marvel films, Kevin Feige, even came out like in her corner, like, this
They
is
should be
fuck
paying,
Disney.
yeah.
Like, you need to pay her. And it's
Yeah.
true, they should, because it is the equivalent of the
Box office sales.
sale. Yeah. So I mean, going forward now, I would imagine.
I
they're
mean,
gonna
it's
have
just
to,
so
like, write
crazy
their
to see how
contract.
corporate that shit is. You know what I mean? Like the corporate world of like film
And
compared to
just
like,
money,
yeah,
you
it's just
know?
like, fuck, that sucks. Well, Disney is a concubine of currency. So it's just kind of like,
And
all
like,
right,
I mean,
you
the
know,
other
I'm
side
not
of it too is
shocked.
like, don't you have enough money?
Yeah, come on, dude. Like,
you really
Jesus
need that?
Christ.
But I think it's more the principle of the thing. And,
Yeah,
in the
she
hopes
put
that it probably
money
doesn't
in-
happen to anybody else in the future. Plus,
Yeah.
as an executive producer, she must have upped money for it too.
I would assume so,
Yeah.
and putting that work into it, it's like you should be fairly compensated, I think. But,
But-
welcome to the world of fucking over the artists.
Yeah,
so,
right.
if you
Nothing
know.
new there.
Yeah, so it's like a 360 deal, for a band. But even weirder. And what's so like that's really interesting that like because there was something I wanted to interject with earlier. You were talking about going to the movies and shit when you were a kid. When I would go, the theaters that I used to go to, and I don't even know if both of them exist anymore. One of them definitely doesn't. There was a theater that was in the Brickyard Mall, right off of Grand Avenue in Narragansett, which is now the Export Fitness there. I forget what kind of theater it was, but it had like the logo was like a purple, like cyclone looking thing.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the brand.
Fuck, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my grandparents, when they lived in Wheaton, they had that same brand of theater right across from them. So, like, the theaters I grew up on were that theater in Wheaton, that theater in Chicago, and then we would go to the Norwich Theater, which I don't know if that's there anymore.
still there.
On Harlem?
I believe so. The
Yeah.
Norwich Theater?
Okay.
Yeah. I
It
think
used to be
that
by
was the one I went-
Jeepers and shit, which is now like Go Bananas or something.
Really?
Yeah. But it was by like Shooters, which is not there anymore. But like Harlem and Lawrence, like right around by like Franco and shit.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, yeah.
there with Franco. We saw a Quiet Place.
Yeah. I saw a movie with you guys there.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought we all
Okay.
went
That
together
was
to
the
see
last
something.
time I've been there then.
That's still there.
It is still there? Okay. That's cool.
Which A Quiet Place 2, unfortunately, is not playing at the Oak Brick Theater. And
That sucks.
Gonna watch that one. So I'll have to watch it somewhere
That
at
should be
another
cool.
AMC, which there's multiple like around.
Yeah.
including the Quarry, which is another theater I used to frequent.
Okay, I know of that one.
But that one had like the worst seats ever. I think they've since changed or
them?
upgraded. I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
remember because there's, I don't know, closer theaters. But
Fuck, I wish I knew the name of those theaters.
I know I can picture the logo.
Yeah,
and
me
everything.
too. I know. I saw
can't remember what it
the
was.
first X-Men movie. The first X-Men movie I saw at that brand of theater, the one that
Really?
was in the export, or that became the export there. Yeah.
That's funny.
Like, I remember me and my parents went, and I, like, saw that movie and was like, this is fucking insane. This is the future of movies. And I was, like, 6 or something. I was young. Very little. But it got me then to thinking of, like, comparing, you know, obviously now we have video streaming, which is monopolized to no extent, and we have music streaming, which same ordeal, you know. And I feel like, because when I was younger, like I used to be all about like buying DVDs. I loved buying movies.
Me too.
I loved buying TV series on DVDs. Like I think I still have some of them, but I had like all of the Seinfeld box sets. I had like a bunch of Simpsons box sets and just like various shit that I liked when I was younger. But I would just like, I remember I would marathon that shit. Like I would put them in my computer and sit in bed on like a sick day and just watch a bunch of Seinfeld like back to back to back. And like, that's when you could put in a DVD and it had like the play all selection.
All 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Because you
Either,
can only
like,
fit so many on a disc.
yeah. So like 4 or 5 episodes of Seinfeld, like, yeah, play them all. And then even then, sometimes it would fuck up and misread and play one of the episodes twice in a row, which sometimes I would just be so lazy. I would just be like, oh, fuck it.
Watching it
Yeah. And now you got Netflix where it's just like, I remember when all these streaming services first became a thing, I was just like, well, fuck that. I got DVDs. Like, I don't give a shit.
Now it's
And then
like,
it's now I
fuck
like
that.
never
I got
buy
streaming.
shit. Yeah. I'm trying to think of I was buying some of those Criterion collection Blu-rays. I have a few of those that are really cool. I have like a bunch of David Lynch films and Do the Right Thing. I even have The Irishman. I have a copy of that.
Really?
Yeah. I like that movie a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
The one thing I miss more than anything with DVDs and Blu-ray is the commentary tracks.
Yeah. Great.
Those were like the greatest thing ever.
yeah.
Like, especially
So sick.
like for comedies, because then it turns into like a secondary comedy.
Oh, yeah.
because you
Absolutely.
have all the funniest people
Yeah.
ever in a room together riffing on their own movie, and it's the funniest
so
fucking
good.
thing.
Yeah.
But then like I noticed like in later years, like the people they'd get for these like commentaries, it was like, here's the fucking key grip to the movie. Like it was like crew. Like here's the carpenter that built the fucking
like,
what? I was like, what the fuck? Like
Who wants that?
yeah, because like
Yeah.
I think part of it too is a lot of these movie stars are probably just like, I did the movie, I'm out. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't want to have to like sit through my own movie again and then like
And now we live in this world of like everything is so available at you all the time.
it'd be
and
awesome if they can implement something like that
Yeah.
with like the
yeah,
streaming
with
services.
streaming services. I'm surprised they haven't.
I mean,
it's
I
just-
don't know how popular commentary stuff was. Like, I don't know. That predates a little
I don't
bit
know
of, like,
either.
the internet world of people
Yeah.
talking about stuff and like
Yeah.
I don't remember
does.
ever being on like message boards and people being like, "Did you hear the commentary like
Yeah.
on this?" Like most of it, I noticed like because like I said, I listen to all those commentaries on all the movies that I own, and like any bit of like information you got from those was already put into like the IMDb trivia,
Sure. So
which is kind of
should
annoying
already
because then
knew.
you would read the
Yeah.
trivia. I'm like, oh, they got this right off the commentary.
Yeah.
Like, that's not as cool, and it's like.
Yeah, not as
Like
unique.
it'd be way cooler if these fucking people just went and listened to the commentary instead of
Yeah.
just reading it secondhand. Like I don't know, it cheapens it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, which sucks. And then it's just like everybody pumps out so much shit. It's just like one thing after the other, and it's like by the time I've seen something now, it's like everybody's onto something else already. So it's just like, well, okay, you know.
Yeah, things seem to move faster, and the flash in the pan is even
Yeah.
quicker than ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very weird. But like, whatever. You know, I've just been going back and watching shit I just have wanted to watch, and like sometimes I'll like watch something stupid on Netflix just to fucking fill the void. But other times it's just like, you know,
Have
whatever.
you watched Blood in the Sky yet?
No, I haven't. I kind of read the synopsis and I was like,
It's when your biggest actor is Dominic Purcell, it's not going to be a good film. Like,
yeah. Why was that like why was that popular even?
Was it popular?
It was it was in the Netflix top 10.
Well, because it's new.
Oh, okay.
So like, you know how everybody is. Oh, something new. Boom, watch it.
Yeah.
Like that's how all
Yeah.
that stuff ends up being trendy. It's just because it's new and why they stagger all their films. So regardless if it is an actual good film, it's going to make it on there. And then in return, it's only going to get more watches. It's just people are like, oh, it's trending right now. I must watch, I have to watch this because when I get to the water cooler, I got to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, some bad shit out there. But yeah, it's just like
I liked it. It was fun. It's a good.
Oh, that movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a great concept of an idea.
Yeah.
It's just a little low budget, but I don't know.
Low budge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actress reminded me of like a low budgeted, what's her name? Numi Rapace or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Who's a way better actress. And if she had done that part, which is probably who they wanted, would have been way better.
Yeah. I believe that. Shit. Me and Sam are watching 60 Days In right now. It's a reality show on Hulu, which I caved because Sam loves reality shows and I hate them. But I'm like, oh, this is about prison. Like I could do fine with this.
Watch Scared Straight.
Yeah, that's great. I'll watch Scared Straight, And this show's cool too. Like the first season of this show takes place in Jacksonville, Indiana, like the prison there, and it's like fucked up. It's sick. But yeah, I mean, it's just like one of those shows too where I'm just like, I've noticed so much of reality TV is like all B-roll. It's just like constantly repeating the B-roll and building it up for something that's like lukewarm. It's like, oh, here's a fight. Here comes the fight. And they're like, coming soon. Then they show a clip of the fight. And then they're like, up next, another clip. And it's like, all right, when are we getting there?
We just see the fight.
Yeah. And it's just like, do we need the constant repeated footage?
I mean, that shows like that, which is a lot of those reality shows, is basically like an editor's, like, I don't know if it's necessarily a nightmare, but it's like this thing of like, it's like how to hone the craft.
Yeah.
Is like, do this because you're going to repeat a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And, you have to make this very small incident look like it was the biggest fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, I remember watching, I can't remember what it was. It was some sort of behind the scenes where they were talking about what's Real World, like, the first season.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things that got brought up was, like, the crew, they were talking about how insanely boring it was because they filmed 24/7, and they're like, don't look at your own life. Like, your own life is not that interesting a lot of the time, and when it is, it's like for a couple minutes maybe. Now imagine having all this footage that you have to sit through and then try to find something interesting. And then it was even worse back then because it was like a legit reality show where they were just people just living life.
Yeah,
which is pretty fucking boring, but for us, having never seen anything like that, it was interesting. And then eventually they manufacture all these crazy things, and they start bringing in people that are clearly like out of their fucking mind or there to just stir up trouble and make their jobs easier as far as having to edit interesting footage. And I think that's what a lot of those reality shows are. It's like, fuck, like film. Let's try to we got to catch something interesting, and then if we do, we got to like milk it for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, it sucks.
But yeah, my folks are into that stuff too, and I've watched it, through them, and I'm just like, this is like rough. Like I don't.
Yeah.
And you're right. They always do that, like the dramatic music. They're like, it's coming up, and then it's like, wait, it didn't happen on this break. Like, when is this gonna happen? And it's the last like minute of it, and you're like, oh, that was like nothing. Like,
yeah,
cool, thanks. But people like that anticipation of like that thing.
I guess.
I get that. Like,
yeah. That is true. By the way, we should probably talk about that fucking Woodstock documentary, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fucking sick.
It's interesting. Like,
what a fun watch. How old was I?
99. I was graduating grade school, 8th grade.
I was probably I was born in 91. So I was what? Like,
8?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
that's funny.
I was, or 7 even, because I was born at the end of 91. So I was probably 7 when that happened.
Okay.
So yeah, that's young enough to not know what the fuck.
Right. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember I remember it kind of
yeah.
And then watching the videos later of the live performances, which was pretty fun. And I never knew that it was that gigantic of a shit show. I do remember the fires.
Yeah.
I do remember people getting out of hand during Limp Bizkit and stuff like that, kinda, because I was big
Yeah.
into MTV then, and just like they said in the documentary, they were reporting on all of it, and mostly. And it's, I will say this about those two fucking guys: was it John and Michael, the guys that ran it? What total pieces of shit who take zero responsibility.
Yeah.
Fuck
Oh,
those
just
guys.
Fred Durst. Yeah.
It's
like,
Fred
okay,
Durst's
man.
fault. He's the when that guy called the security guards knuckleheads, I was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Knuckleheads. Like, okay, grandpa. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you fucked up. You fucked up, dude.
Yeah, big time.
Can't you own up to it now that it's been
Yeah.
long since passed? Like, you can't own up to it. Like,
Who
fuck
knows?
you. But I mean, I get that too. Like, nobody wants to admit defeat, and that was like one of the
Sure.
worst defeats.
Yeah,
as
that's a
far as
bad
a
one.
festival goes.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting too that they mentioned the original Woodstock in '69 and how that was even disastrous, and then the one in '94 wasn't like
Yeah.
as bad as '69, but had its moments.
Uh-huh.
And then obviously '99 was like far and away the worst.
Yeah.
But it was also set up in a way where it was like, this is going to like
Be a
implode.
disaster.
Like,
Yeah.
like look at the security alone situation.
Yeah,
where,
that was bad.
like the guy was just like, yeah, we just had to like be able to write our own names, and we
Yeah.
essentially got in.
And then like wear a shirt.
And
there
half
you
of them
go.
just left and
Yeah.
went in, and it's like, yeah, what do you expect? Like, because all it was all about a profit margin, and that's
Yeah.
what bit them in the ass.
Yeah.
Just let's do it as cheap as possible and make as much money as possible, and that's what bit them in the ass in the whole thing. But,
Yeah, dude. It's just like, because I don't know. I don't remember much of pop culture back then. I was so little. I remember Limp Bizkit being huge, and I remember
Massive,
like
yeah.
all these other bands. Like,
it was the peak of like new metal.
Yeah.
That was another thing that kind of bothered me with that thing, was like how they kind of like a lot of those people just kind of shitting on like new metal. Like,
yeah,
right
like
away.
Moby, chill the fuck out a little.
You heard about him, right? How he got in trouble?
No, what did he do?
He wrote some memoir, which who the fuck's reading a Moby memoir? Like,
I don't
shame on
know.
you for anybody that's read
Yeah.
that thing.
Woman,
Where he said
hey.
that he dated Natalie Portman, claimed that she was 20 at the time, even though he was 30. She came out and was like, we never fucking dated, and I was 18 at that time.
Ooh,
So it didn't look good, and he has since apologized about it, although it was kind of like, look it up when you get a chance and like read it. It's a quick read, but like the way he initially handled it, it was like, ooh, dude, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? But I think in one of the articles, they kind of put it where it's like, it seems like he more or less did that in a way to just get people to talk about it.
yeah,
And it worked. People talked about it. Because I remember that happening, which I thought was weird when he came out and was like, let me talk about how new metal is misogynistic. I was like,
yeah,
slow down, buddy.
misogynistic.
Slow
And then
down.
on top of that, he's just like, yeah, riding Limp Bizkit, and I'm just like, okay, man. I think he's just got a personal thing as well, a little bit. I mean, he's not
They
wrong
even
about
showed
some of it, but
Right.
like,
they even show it in like the old footage of him like bitching about how his name isn't on the plywood.
yeah,
I was like, shut the fuck up, dude.
yeah, get over
Like,
it.
even
man.
at your height, you weren't even close to any of those bands.
yeah,
Like,
so
don't get me wrong,
stupid.
we all know who Moby is. Like, I couldn't tell you what his fucking single was though, but I know him. I know of his existence. Like, he got that far, but
Yeah.
like,
I know,
the
I know
balls
some of
on
the
him
songs. Yeah,
do you? But the balls on him to be like, how come I'm not on that board? It's like, dude, you're nobody compared to these guys.
yeah.
Like,
I don't know. You weren't
at
that
the
hot,
height
man.
of
yeah,
like that genre of music.
yeah, he wasn't that
He
hot.
wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely charted or whatever, but like, yeah, it wasn't like.
And it's like a totally different crowd. Like his electronic music, like compare to Limp Bizkit. It's
I mean,
like,
granted,
where's
they
the
had like
crossover?
the separate tent.
Yeah, the
for that, the
LSD
EDM,
tent or whatever
yeah,
the
the
fuck.
drug tent.
Yeah, the rave tent. But still, it's just like, okay, where's the cross? There's not much crossover other than just like people exploring, like they said. It was just people like
It was a total
wandering in
shotgun
there.
approach of
Yeah.
like, music. I mean, to be honest, I don't think Korn or Limp Bizkit or any of those bands like that should have been on a Woodstock bill though, because
That
like
doesn't make any sense.
the essence of Woodstock is supposed to be this whole
Peace
thing
and
of
love,
peace and love
yeah.
and all that stuff, and that is not what those bands represent in any way, shape, or
No.
form. The only reason why they're there is because they were fucking gigantic,
Yeah.
and those dickheads wanted to make money off of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like I thought, like when they mentioned the three women that were on there, it was
Yeah,
Sheryl
Jewel.
Crow, Lance Morissette, and Jewel, and like,
Yeah.
and they were like, it was funny because they were like, oh, they put one on each day, like as if to like hit some sort of quota. It's like, well, if they put them all on one day, you guys would have bitched about it anyway. So they had them on. Like,
yeah,
they didn't have to if they were that like.
Yeah. Also, weird crossovers. Like what? Who wants to see Limp Bizkit and Alanis Morissette?
Limp Bizkit after Alanis Morissette too. Like that's crazy.
Weird.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah. Huge.
What a huge difference.
Yeah.
The
bass player walks out with two middle fingers up.
Fun fact, Sam Rivers, like I was reading up on them, I think it was like a year or two ago, curious as to what was going on, and they mentioned that Sam Rivers was having issues with his back and had to go in the hospital.
Back then?
This is like maybe 1 or 2 years ago.
Oh, recently.
And I was like, fuck, that sucks. They said like he had some sort of like, debilitating disease with his spine. I was like, dude, that sucks. Because like I like that dude as a bass player. I think he's part of the reason why I even play bass. He's one of the main reasons why I play bass. But I would like looked it up again. I was like, what did he have? Like I'm trying to remember. And I look and they updated it. Nothing wrong with his back. His liver was shot from drinking too much. He's a fucking alcoholic. And so he had a liver transplant. Yeah, and that's why he couldn't tour. I was like, what a piece of shit.
Wow. Bro, I love how he comes out on the stage like flipping everybody off.
Yeah, it was a sign of the times.
Yeah. Fuck you.
And they play a song called Break Stuff, and people broke stuff.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
And that guy got
man.
really mad that Fred Durst told them to break stuff.
Yeah. It's like, okay, man. Well, shouldn't have had him on your show, or you should have had better security.
Dude,
or real security.
Like, if actual security is there, none of that would have happened.
No.
Like, right then and there, none of that would have happened.
None at all.
I like that the accessibility of water, like, oh, we had access to water. And, like, they were like, right away, they were like, people were showering in the water we're supposed to be drinking. Like,
this is nasty. That was nasty, dude. Like, women and, like, people inside those big, like, water tubs. It's gross. Like, oh, great, okay.
Dude, we're supposed to be drinking from that. Like, oh, man.
It sucks.
And then the porta pissers, like, bursting open, and people are just like
covered in mud and shit and pee.
Oh man,
yeah, so gross, dude.
So gross.
That sucks.
It's so crazy.
It can't even be worth it. Like, what the fuck?
But yeah,
imagine being there for all 3 days too.
I mean, I personally fucking hate festivals.
Yeah,
I can't stand them. Even when I work them, I barely like them. And I don't really, and when I do work them, it's like I'll catch like 1 or 2 bands that I like, and then I'm on the bus. Like, I'm fuck this. I don't want to be out there. The weather is always the worst it can possibly be at these things. Mainly because like people that make way more money at these like whatever grounds that they're working at, they pay the better premiums for the better time frames. Whereas like these promoters are like, oh, we'll get it in the middle of the hottest week. Yeah. Because it's so much cheaper. And there goes our profit margin goes up. And then look what happens. People are fucking dying like from heat stroke and hypothermia. Like it's crazy.
Jesus, dude. Yeah.
I remember like right away, like how fast into that documentary did you like know that one guy was going to die?
I don't remember. Oh, you mean the guy that died
during Metallica?
Yeah, because he wandered off.
Well, he wandered off and he got hypothermia.
Yeah, and then he died.
He died because they thought he was like ODing or whatever.
And they weren't doing any drugs or anything like that.
Yes, allegedly.
Yeah, because there was that nerdy guy that was all fucking like.
Dude, I knew like 5 seconds in because he goes, yeah, my buddy liked Metallica, and I was like, well, your buddy's not the one talking about it right now, so he's probably fucking dead. And like they do like the reveal, and I was like, okay, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like the same thing with like the rape and sexual assault shit. Like when I texted you about that, that was like before the Limp Bizkit part even came on, and I was like, I bet you people probably got raped.
Oh, God, yeah.
Just seeing how out of control everything was, I'm like, all right, what's stopping people from grabbing women's tits and shit like that and groping them? And then on top of that, it's like, if people are that fucked up and it's like literally that lawless out there, how are people not getting raped and sexually assaulted?
Yeah, at the end, what was it? It was like only 4 rape allegations and 8 sexual assaults or something. Yeah.
Which that's like people that like came forward, I guess.
That's like the few people that came forward.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be in like the hundreds, if not thousands. Like,
yeah, it's bad.
I'm curious as to like, because that one lady mentions there's like a message board dedicated just to that. I was like, I kind of wanted to find that and just see.
Read up on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like, that was also a time where people didn't talk about that stuff too. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't, like the Me Too movement was not in the back of anybody's mind, So like nobody, like at least women didn't feel like they'd be validated to be like, oh, like I got sexually assaulted by these pieces of shit. Like in one girl, it was like, yeah, I just didn't feel like I should just go and like tell someone. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. Now that we live in the age that we do live in now, it's hard to like fathom that line of thinking,
Yeah, but I mean, back then it's like, look at the behavior and like, look at how much of that shit was passable. And it's like watching that documentary, like I remember thinking like they were mentioning the showers and how like, there was like a tarp that was separating the men from the women, and it's just drunk dudes like, peeking in there and shit. It's like, oh, what is that? Straight out of American Pie? You know what I mean? Some like
that's the height of American Pie too.
You know what I mean? It's just like all that shit that was funny in those movies is shit that would not fly now.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And it's just like, and I mean, I guess there really is a lot of misogyny behind some of it, like. Because it's like, what the fuck? Like, if somebody tried to do that now, they would get their ass beat.
Crucified.
Yeah, either socially or physically or both, and it's just like, fuck, like, I just feel like maybe what's happening now with the world is a reaction to how culture was then,
Well, all this stuff is very cyclical. And like right now, it feels like we're in the midst of a like puritanical movement.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like, don't get me wrong. There are actions that people do that are definitely horrendous and wrong and are deserving of certain, like, whether it's jail time or whatever. But there's also people that take that and they go just a step further, and sometimes the punishment is not quite equal to like whatever the crime is.
Yeah.
So whether it's, like, I don't know how to like something small, I don't know, you called a girl a bitch and then something huge is rape. They're like, well, you're in the same category. So we need to bury you under the jail. It's like, whoa. Like,
it's like, okay,
where's
the line?
A lot of stones being thrown. And it's just, I mean, you see it all the time now. As soon as something comes out, boom, everybody is boycotting it or throwing somebody under the bus like immediately before anything gets said afterward. As soon as something is said, it's immediate.
Sure.
But that always happens. They always have those movements like that, where it's like, ooh, we've gone too far. We need to clean it up, which is fine. Agree with. But then they always go too far. Just like when you go the other way where it's like, all right, like we could be a little more free spirited.
Sure.
You're like, for sure. And then you go too fucking far with it. And you're like,
and it's like,
whoa. That's
is
a little too much free
uncomfortable.
spirit.
Yeah.
You're grabbing people. Like, this is way too much. Like,
Exactly.
And that's where we were in 99 was like that height. Now we're coming back around to the the other side of it. And then it'll come back. It just bounces back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yes, it really does.
we'll see. Like, and then like, we've talked about it on here before, like that Howard Stern generation of like that shock jock and that kind of stuff, and before that it was like clean cut, and then bad before, and it just keeps coming. And I don't know, now we're seeing these, it seems like they go quicker in between moments, especially with the internet, and it's so easy to get a ball rolling on these kind of movements,
Definitely. Yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, it's just interesting to see that glimpse in a culture back then too, that because I wasn't around for any of that. Yeah, I mean, like, I wasn't old enough.
Right. It also, like, it kind of sucked to hear, like, I'm not saying none of that stuff happened. It definitely happened, but it just kind of sucked to hear some, I don't know, it's like hearing your heroes or bad people kind of like thing. And it's like, I grew up with that stuff, and I don't think I'm a piece of shit. Like, maybe I could be better. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I've never raped anybody, I never went to a concert and grabbed anybody. Like,
I mean, there's some
I don't listen to Limp Bizkit and be like, yeah, women suck. Like, I don't, like, That's never been my takeaway from that stuff.
What Moby was saying something in that documentary about somebody being misogynistic, and I can't remember if it was Limp Bizkit or like it was Kid Rock. It was like
he was saying new metal in general has
misogynistic tendencies.
But then like
I think it was they did a couple clips.
The Kid Rock one,
yeah,
which
and he
is
was
the
like,
funniest. I mean,
what did he say? Like, you can suck my dick. He was like, if you got a problem with me, you can suck.
What he said about Bill Clinton was the funniest because the look.
Was that Kid Rock or was that
Kid Rock?
Yeah, where he was like,
Monica Lewinsky's a hoe
and Bill Clinton is a pimp.
He's like,
that was sick, dude. Is a hoe and Bill Clinton is a
fucking moron.
Yeah. Man. But then, like, they did somebody else that was like, if you got a problem with me, suck my dick. And it's like, okay, man. Like,
Kid Rock again.
That was but then again, it's like, is that like a misogynistic thing to say? Like, he's saying that to everybody.
Yeah,
he's just saying somebody like.
If anything, it's the opposite of misogynistic. He's being inclusive.
Well, and that's what I just don't get. It's just like, okay, like, all right. If you really skew it that way, sure. But like the meaning behind, and we know the intentions behind saying something like that. Like, if you got a problem with me, like, go fuck off is essentially what that means.
I'm not telling you to actually go masturbate.
No, and he's probably not even going to let a guy suck his penis. You know what I mean? It's just like, I guess you never know. I don't know much about Kid Rock.
Yeah. Who knows?
Or Uncle Cracker. But yeah, I just like don't fucking I just don't get it. And like, you know, I feel like Kid Rock is still like a little far away from the new metal scene. Like he definitely, I mean, he isn't. I guess he is wrapped up in a lot of it, but like there's like a different aspect to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of the hip hop side of it. Which that was another thing that dude from The Ringer that was on there talking about that. He's like, white people are always taking black people's music. And I was like, oh no, here we go. Like it was bound to happen. I was like, okay,
yeah.
I thought that was a pretty funny
moment. The dude with the mustache?
The black dude?
Yeah.
Mustache, yeah.
What's The Ringer?
The podcast? That's who produced the show. Bill Simmons produced this.
I noticed this is a show, not a movie, but like a series.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the rest of it. I think it's all music based.
Is it weekly? Like once a week?
I don't know.
Yeah, Music Talks, season 1, episode 1.
It's cool. I mean, I like Bill Simmons. I like all those guys, and that dude. I can't think of his name. I feel bad, but.
Yeah.
That dude's great. That guy's a great film critic. I love hearing that guy talk about movies. But I thought that was funny, and I was just like, well, like not all new metal is hip hop influenced.
Yeah, like Slipknot
again, this
is
guy
not
probably
like
doesn't listen to new metal.
Most new metal, yeah.
You know, and is only basing it off. Like, I mean, Limp Bizkit was huge.
Yeah, they were huge.
So I can understand if somebody was like, that's new metal. And you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, but Slipknot didn't really have... I mean, they had rapping parts, I guess, in the first record, but like they really strayed away from that shit later on.
Right.
And I don't know, Disturbed didn't really have any hip-hop shit going on. And
Deftones did it in like the first album.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very... whatever. Like, and if that's what we're calling that, like, okay.
I mean, I guess that's... I mean, what else do you call the meshing of hip hop and metal?
I mean, I don't know if my first instinct is to think that it's stolen. You know what I mean? Like it's stolen. Like is art stolen? You know, like can you steal
that's an interesting,
which is interesting. Yeah,
interesting thing. Like
because I'm not trying to invalidate anything. Because
no.
There's a very valid point with that.
Well, it's very true. Like long time ago, at least, like with like jazz and blues and stuff like that. And how, rock was like basically blues that.
Absolutely, which all is credited back.
But like, I mean, I guess hip hop is predominantly African American then, and therefore was taken. But I mean, isn't that? I don't know. It's weird because like, I mean, you got to be influenced by something, right?
Yeah,
and you got to like, and you want to do something different. Mm-hmm. And is it theft though? Is it really theft?
I don't know. And I think putting it in that light takes like any genuity out of it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like anything genuine out of it. Because it's just like, if you're going to view everything like that as stolen, it's just kind of like, who wants to put any like who would feel excited about anything creatively at that point with that artist? You know, like. And
I mean, nu metal got huge. It was like a big part of pop culture, but I don't know. I'm like at a lost words right now. I can't think of like how to. I don't know, man. And I mean, it's like, Limp Bizkit did borrow a lot from hip hop, but also at the same time, they really had their own footing. Like,
Especially
right?
at that point too. Like nobody was doing it like they were. Nobody had that voice like Fred Durst had. And it's just like, honestly, a lot of hip hop back then might have been saying fuck you, but it was not in the same way he was doing it. Like, yeah, he rapped and he like, they had a ton of sick like hip hop elements, and like the production of a lot of those records was very much, I feel like, rooted in hip hop. You know, like that style
that
back then.
Stuff like that.
But you know, at the same time, it's like I feel like that's what's borrowed from it, not necessarily just this like Fred Durst attitude. You know, I mean, Fred Durst could be a dude from a trailer park that was like, you know, and I'm not knocking him by saying that. I'm just saying it's like, who knows? You know, I'm granted I don't have a lot of history or knowledge about the band other than like surface shit, you know, but I don't know. It's just interesting because it's just like, oh man, like, you know, not every new metal band I think I could say that about, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty generalized statement about
and it's
it.
just people like, it's people that still like give a fuck about like, it's like, just let it go. Who gives a fuck? It's like, let it like live. Like people that still to this day like shit on new metal. It's just like, do you have, it's like,
oh, dude,
so
I was such a
exhausting,
fucking
man.
island the other day hanging out with Brian, Rosie, and our friend Rick, because like they have all since denounced new metal.
Yeah.
And like, I just don't understand why the fuck anybody likes new metal still. I was like, I don't know, like we loved it back then. Like, how do you not?
Yeah, think about how you liked it back then.
Back at it.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
I mean, I've like come to terms with it more now. Like, and now that I'm older, like I just don't care. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to this stuff.
Yeah.
I listened to it back then. I liked it back then. Some of it I don't like now, like for sure.
Yeah.
But there's still so much of it that I still like now. And like, you know,
Sure.
fuck that. I don't care. I'm gonna listen to it. I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, you should.
It's so sure. Some of it was dumb and hokey and like, but we were kids. We were young adults that were just trying to find something that we can call our own, and that was like the biggest thing. Like, you couldn't get away from it.
It was
At
big.
that point,
Yeah, it was huge.
You're just soaking in whatever is the you know, like they said like with MTV it was the counterculture thing, and if you were that kind of kid, that's where you went and like listened to all that stuff, and that's where you were like, yeah, I like that stuff now. Obviously we all grow up, but I don't know. I don't think you should totally denounce those things. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
That fucking dude. Oh man, I hated Dave Holmes at the end of that fucking documentary.
What did he say?
What didn't he say, man? He was on the MTV like VJs or whatever. And it's just like, dude, you were part of that machine. Like you made your career with MTV, and he's just up there talking shit about it the whole time.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And it was just like weird, you know, like he's just like, ah, thank God I wasn't as cool as Carson Daly, and they just shit all over him. I was like, yeah, because you suck, dude. Like, fuck you.
Damn.
And like here you are now, like acting like you're above it. And it's like, dude, you were part of it.
Yeah.
Like,
he was
chill.
part of it. And like, who cares?
Yeah.
At this point. It's so long.
He had some
gone.
good points, like when he was talking about how it was like a light switch, like where MTV all of a sudden was like the, you know, pop music and like that all of a sudden, like boom, like it, like he said the demographic dropped like 5 years, and like what did he say? He was like, yeah, we took their MTV and we gave it to their sister, which I thought that was a great quote. Coming from that guy, it was pretty good too. And but throughout it, he just like did you know he was an MTV VJ?
No.
Yeah, like you never would have guessed it the way he was talking about it.
No.
You know, like. And of all the people they could have got, I don't understand why they got like just him. Like, where the fuck was everybody?
All I
else?
remember was Sway and Carson Daly.
You remember Kurt Loder?
Maybe if I saw him.
He was cool.
I like Sway. I would listen to Sway's show on XM sometimes.
Yeah,
or
he's still like he's like huge now, right? On like
he's got like Sirius or some satellite radio. But I listen to his show on YouTube sometimes.
Kurt Loder's cool because he's the one guy that could speak German, so like they would always have him like talk to him.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like there was a lot of people missing from that documentary that they should have had. That was the one part of it.
They should have had the guys from Limp Bizkit on the documentary.
How could they not?
I don't know.
But I'm curious as to like how many people they reached out to and were like, I don't want any part of that fucking shit show. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. Although I wouldn't fault Limp Bizkit for anything that they did there.
No.
I mean, that was interesting because like they kind of set it up at first like they were going to blame them, and then everybody was like, no, you can't blame the artist. I was like, oh, okay, but you're kind of like,
but you're viewing it that way,
kind of making it seem that way a little bit. And obviously they got to give, you know, that guy John, I think was the one that was like, that Fred Durst is a real knucklehead for telling everybody to break stuff. And I was like, Yeah, obviously that guy's gonna say that, but
Yeah.
blaming the artist. But that always happens.
Yeah.
Like,
Moby will blame him.
Yeah, Moby can blame him because
Yeah.
he played his little fucking EDM drug tent trying to hit on
Yeah.
Natalie Portman.
Man. Yeah, dude, I'd like to punch him in the back of the head. Probably like any Limp Bizkit fan wanted to do that back then too, but like
That was the other thing. I was like, why Moby? Why?
Yeah.
Like, oh wait, that's right. He has nothing going on, so he's definitely available.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I like that they had Dave Mustaine for all of like 5 minutes.
Very weird.
It was so because he doesn't show up until like the middle of it, and
Yeah.
you're like, what? Like, oh, okay, Dave
Yeah.
Mustaine's here. Like, how much B-roll do they have on him?
Yeah, and he
You know?
barely even says anything.
Talk some shit about Lars and Napster.
Yeah, well, don't say it, Dave.
and,
don't say
and
it.
like one other thing I
Yeah.
can't even remember, and I thought that was funny. But yeah, like so many more like MTV people missing that they should have had. Like,
yeah.
but once again, I'm sure some of those people probably just declined.
Didn't want to get in it on it. Yeah.
I don't think Carson Daly's doing anything, right?
I don't know what he does now. Doesn't he have a satellite show or something like that?
I have no idea.
I
I
have
never
no
really
idea
liked that
either.
guy. He was too
I never did
wishy-washy.
either.
He would always go back and forth. Like, I get it, that was his job, but it's like, come on, man, pick a side like fucking
Yeah.
Pinfield, was like the metal guy. Like, it's like, come on, man, pick a side. But
Yeah.
nah, he would go back and forth. So,
I never really
Very
watched
Canadian of him.
TRL or anything like that. Like,
I
was
grew
never-
up on all that MTV stuff,
Yeah.
and like, it was
when I got into MTV,
pretty
it was
influential.
Jackass. I was watching Jackass and like
I was
other
great, too.
shows.
Yeah, at that point, it was
Wasn't
becoming
music
TV
shit.
shows.
Yeah.
When it was predominantly music, like, I don't know, I lucked out with that, like being able to grow up with MTV and like
Yeah.
witness like the original version of MTV, and the ethos of it was like so much better and was just about music and
Yeah.
whatever was a video, it was boom, it was on there. It was so fucking cool.
Well, the point, like when I started watching Headbangers Ball, it was on MTV2.
Fuck yeah.
And Josta was doing it by then.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Headbangers Ball was the shit.
Yeah.
Stand up. And it sucked because like
But it was on MTV2. You know, it wasn't
that's
on the
cool.
main channel.
I used to have to watch it late as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
that was not a primetime show ever.
Yeah, I'm sure it was not.
Nah, I think it was when or was that on MTV2. It was like, I don't know.
Who's doing it then? Ricky Rocket or whatever.
Ricky
the
Ratman?
fuck? Yeah, that
Yeah.
dude.
Hell yeah.
Ricky Ratman.
Occasionally Phil Ansama was in there.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, Phil. All right.
Yeah. Sick.
But
Yeah,
I
some
don't know.
good
Who else
shit.
would you like to see? It was cool that they even had Jonathan Davis on there. It was nice.
That was
like,
cool.
I was like, cool.
Yeah.
They got somebody at least. Like, Jesus.
Who else would I have liked to seen in that? I think I would have liked to have seen more artists. Like somebody from Metallica would have been cool. Like especially
Yeah,
from
what
like
the
a
fuck?
band that headlined a day. Like you should probably have
Yeah.
all the headlining bands. You know what I mean? Like
You would think.
yeah, but
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Yeah, none of the fucking Chili Peppers. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Which I'm not a Chili Peppers fan, but I thought that was the most baller move ever when they
Yeah.
were like, hey, man, could you tell everybody to chill with the fires? He's like, yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to play Fire by Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, let me stand next to your fire. Let me
So
stand next to
good.
your fire.
So
Yeah.
good. Good on
'Cause
them.
why would you do
'Cause,
that?
Like, fuck
Yeah.
you. Like, they're the artists, man. They're going to do their thing.
Yeah.
It was your job to make sure it didn't get to this point.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, fuck you.
So stupid. Yeah, I remember that was really funny.
That's not
When
that
they did
such
that,
a,
they're
like,
like,
a boss
"Whoa,"
move, dude.
yeah, very fucking wild. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. Back then,
like,
it was
dude,
just
it
all
was
about like joining in on the chaos and like destruction.
I mean,
that-
that's just how it goes. Like,
yeah,
I mean, they make it a point multiple times explaining just like how uncomfortable and pissed off everybody
yeah,
was, and
yeah.
what do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, and I mean,
like,
especially when you
and they're
introduce like
young ass kids, like
yeah, and bottles of water were $4, and then like food is expensive, and like they can't. Obviously, kids were saying like we didn't know what to prepare for. We were kids, and we
Right.
weren't making enough.
I did
money
like
for
that
something
one girl
like
that
that.
had like the East Coast accent, like cracking
Yeah.
up. She's like, I woke up to the Santana on the wall. She's like, hell yes, fucking what is it?
Yeah,
Pink Floyd here.
yeah,
She was funny. I liked her a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, then like that fucking asshole again. That same guy, John, was like, "Well, this wasn't like a poor man's concert." It's like, fuck you, man. Like, ugh.
Yeah, very weird. I don't know, man. I mean, the
water was available. It's like, yeah, okay, sure.
yeah, water was available
Well,
at $4, and it wasn't a
that
lot
whole,
of money.
like,
Yeah,
You know, like bottles of water, $4. Free. You know, like,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like, come on, man. We know what you're doing. Like, we've seen it. Like, you
yeah.
fucking piece
Well, all
of
these
shit.
festivals do it. I'm sure Lala did that this weekend in Chicago.
You know, like, it made me think, like, you know who'd be nice to get on the show to talk to is Buck.
Yeah, that would be cool.
As somebody that works.
If he would be down.
If he'd be down, I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah.
Just about his, like, perspective of it. Like, obviously, that's a vastly better run festival, but like any festival seems like it's a better run festival than this one was, which, I mean, it's almost serves as like a cautionary tale how to do it, which they mentioned, you know, like, what's the big one? Coachella.
Yeah.
Which was like, that followed it.
Uh-huh.
And it did like the opposite of whatever Woodstock did.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what led to its success and how it's still fucking going.
Yeah.
And they brought that up too, how, you know, the whole haves and have-nots, and you
Yeah.
hear about it all the time. They're like, oh yeah, if you drop like $5,000, you get like the special tent at Coachella, you know?
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, like, I can't afford that. It's like you get to sleep in a shitty tent on some grass for $20, you know?
Yeah.
And but like they had a good point. They're like, it's still going on. It's just cleaner, you know. And it's just essentially like they just brought the standard up.
Yeah.
And you're still fucked if you don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, if you want to spend the money, you know, for somewhat of a better experience. It's
those things. Those fests are marketed towards people that like only go to that their entire year instead of any other shows. You know, it's like
it's the biggest bang for your buck.
And I don't know. Obviously, we don't do that at all, and I wouldn't. You know, and I mean, at this point,
like, I'm always surprised that we have any friends,
like
our musician friends that do fests and stuff.
Like go or play?
Go.
Oh yeah.
Playing it, I totally get, but going, I always find it kind of weird that I know some people that go to some of these festivals. Like,
yeah, I don't know, unless it's really worth it, but it's never been to me. Brockhampton was headlining Lala today, and I didn't fucking go.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like a ton of money, and it's like, is that worth it to see one band's hour-long set?
Right.
Fuck no.
You want to go outside in some shitty weather, some shitty, like, especially now with COVID, it's like,
oh my God, it just looks terrifying. It just literally, like, all the footage I've seen is just like, this looks like a really bad idea. It just looks like a really bad idea.
But then again, you know, that comes down to money. It generates a lot of money in Chicago. So, because they said, like, what was it? Coachella, like, generates like $108 million down there.
Yeah, something like that.
Which is funny because then Rome, New York, where Woodstock 99 was held, only made $200,000 after all that shit. I was like, good for
stupid.
You. Hey, but at least the mayor got to hang out with Puff Daddy, so that was cool. I thought that was so funny that they dropped that in there.
Yeah. Like, oh, great. Okay.
Pay $200,000 to hang out with P. Diddy.
Ridiculous. Yeah, man. It was just very interesting because I didn't know much about it either. I knew that like everybody had talked about like Woodstock being a disaster. I remember my parents talking about it at some point when I was way younger. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, I remember watching it on MTV and hearing about it through there. And
yeah.
You know, that one guy brings it up like as if MTV was just trying to like sling him through the mud, but it was like, dude, that is what was
the job. Yeah, and it was bad.
And like, what else are they going to report on? Like, sorry, they have no fucking money in the game for Woodstock. You know, like
at least the one guy that had more hair was like able to admit, like, yeah, this is clearly was not the crowd we were anticipating. You know?
Yeah, but he like, I don't know, he still seemed wishy washy and like, kind of an idiot. You know, like the other guy Michael, total moron. I guess heart more in the right place. The guy John was just a greedy asshole. Yeah, and took advantage of it. You know.
Yep.
And I don't know. It's like, what do you do with that? Like,
I don't know.
Had the lineup. Like, what if there was another festival that had like Limp Bizkit and Korn and all these heavy new metal acts? Would that have happened elsewhere?
Probably not.
Or probably not if like security was better, like conditions were better, like. But I think it was just a perfect storm of just bad. Mm-hmm. It just led up to this thing being so horrendous.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the closest experience I could think I've ever had of that was going to Ozfest, and it wasn't that bad. I mean,
I remember I saw people pass out at Ozfest.
oh yeah,
It was
me
so
too.
hot.
Yeah,
like,
people
this is
pass
terrible.
out. People get the shit kicked out of it in a mosh pit or
They
something.
want
You know.
to spend $6-8 for a shitty bottle of water they can't have the cat for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tinley Park's finest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That was the first festival I ever went to, and the last, I think. The last one I ever
Ozfest?
paid for. Yeah.
Summer Slaughter would have been the last one that I paid for.
Was that indoors or outdoors?
Indoors.
That's a little bit better. The outdoor
Yeah.
shit just gets me, man. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean,
It never sounds good. The
No.
weather's always shitty.
yep,
Everybody smells.
yep.
Like nothing's
Yeah,
comfortable.
Food's too expensive.
Standing
water's
on the
too
ground
expensive.
like sucks.
Yeah.
You know, like ugh.
It's just not worth it. It's just like, fuck, man. This is so much money to just have a day here, like on top of like the obligations of if you want to buy any merch. Like that's one thing I wish they covered in that documentary more was like something about like the merch setups or something like that. Cause like
What do you
there
mean?
were like, I don't know, what did they do back then? Did they have an area where a bunch of bands set up booths? Did they have
I'm
like
sure. Like that's
you
how
know,
they do it at every festival.
I think that would be interesting. It would just have been interest. I would have been interested to see something like that on there.
I mean, they showed them destroying what looked like a merch booth.
Yeah, but like that was it, you know. I don't know. I'm curious as to how that went. You know what I mean? Like, because then were people rioting and stealing from people? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, whoever had merch there still definitely got stolen. For sure.
absolutely. I mean, kids were breaking open ATM machines and shit. They were saying so. Like,
I like the one guy was like, I drank the most water during the rioting than I did the
Yeah.
whole weekend because they got access to all
Jesus,
the water
yeah.
and stuff.
ridiculous.
The pretzels. He's throwing pretzels.
Yeah,
Thought that was
frozen
funny.
pretzels. Then you see him burned. And later footage are just charred black. It's like, oh man, poor pretzels.
That dude cracked me up.
Yeah.
He was like, what the hell? He was like, I was this mild-mannered kid. He goes, by day 3, I'm like burning shit, breaking stuff. He's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Yeah. Very weird.
And somebody else brought up a good point. They were like, I can't believe people stayed all 3 days.
I think it was just like those kids probably never had an experience like that, and it just felt like total freedom.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That,
It was probably cathartic
and
for
the
some
fact
kids.
that, like, they spent a lot of money, too.
yeah.
And they're like, well, I got to get my money's worth.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
And I mean, that was the generation too to just be like, yo, if we're putting up for it, we're fucking
like,
holding
I
out.
was just telling a story about where I went to go see. I was with Tom and his older brother, and Tom had bought the ticket for his brother to go. We wanted to see Stain, but the headliner was Godsmack, which at the time we didn't give a shit about.
Okay.
Still don't really
Did
give
you
a shit about.
did you ever?
Godsmack?
Mhm.
No, not really.
Okay.
It's more laughable and it's fun to make
Okay.
fun of than it is to enjoy.
Sure.
For me personally,
I agree.
And, I mean, when it comes on the radio now, it's like this is the best because it's so
Yeah.
bad. It's like a bad movie, you
Yeah,
know.
it's
You're like,
pretty bad.
you got to watch it, you know. Like,
Yeah.
it comes on the radio. Me and Al have a blast, like making fun of it. But no, so we went to this show. Systematic opened, which was a band I liked. Cold was next, which was a band that I didn't
remember
mind,
Cold.
but I never really followed much. And they were all right to see live. And then Stain, which is who we were there for, was awesome. But then Godsmack came on, right? And I
Yeah.
remember like me and Kevin were like,
Where was this at?
Allstate?
Okay. An arena, so like a big show.
They were
Yeah.
huge, man. And me and Kevin were like, let's get the fuck out. You know, like partially because we don't care about Godsmack. And second of all, kind of beat the crowd a little bit, you know? And I just remember Tom was like, fucking no, we're staying. We're like, what? He goes, I bought this ticket. We're fucking staying. And I was, God damn it.
Why?
Because I mean, at that time, Tom was super fucking young. He didn't have a job. Like he spent his own money to like pay for that ticket. So he's like, fuck that. I paid for it. We're staying for the whole thing. That's a very Johnny O thing for sure. Like that's his dad coming through.
Good for
And-
him.
I guess. I was like, man, we
How
had to
was
sit there
it?
fucking, it sucked. You're fucking voodoo live.
Yeah.
I'm good, man. Never again. So it reminds you of that. Like, I think that probably was like a big reason for a lot of those people that were like, fuck that. I spent $180 was like the ticket or something like that. Like, I'm staying. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. A lot of money. Yeah, that's the thing. If it's like, when you are that young, that is a lot of money. So,
Yeah, like the one girl said. She's like, I work part-time at a fucking pizza place. Like, you
Yeah.
ain't got that kind of money. Like, so to drop the
Exactly.
money on that, yeah, you're definitely more inclined to be like, I need to squeeze every hour out of this thing that I can.
yeah.
So
It
I
was
can't
very
really fault
interesting.
people for sticking around, but But then again, the way they paint it, it seems like this was one of the most uncomfortable places.
Yeah, I mean,
to
I
be,
think
so.
even if I was young and like paid for a ticket, I wouldn't have wanted to stay. I
Yeah.
think I would have just if it was, especially if it was chaotic and shit, I probably would have freaked out. You know,
Yeah,
that's like before the age of mass cell phones.
That was another interesting aspect too. Is like how that wasn't a time where cell phones weren't a thing.
Yeah,
People were just getting lost left and right. Like
Yeah,
that sounds
you know?
terrifying.
Yeah, it does.
To lose your friend, like
Yeah.
fuck that. Like ugh.
Yeah,
They just
Ridiculous.
got the payphones and stuff, so we can call home and whatnot. I don't know. The idea of even like sleeping at a festival does not sound appealing. to
no,
me in the
absolutely.
least.
I mean, honestly, and maybe I shouldn't say it because I don't want to be like say something and lay a false claim to it. But I really feel like festivals like that kind of took their shape in like all this EDM crazy shit you see, or hear about, or it's just
like Burning Man, stuff like that.
yeah, maybe something like that, or
I have a cousin that like goes to that every year.
yeah,
He's
there's a
fucking
lot of
baker.
people that
It's the
do
funniest
that.
thing ever.
Um,
Met his wife there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people have great experiences from fests like that. And if that's your vibe, I think that's cool. Like I respect that.
I definitely think it takes a kind
A
of
certain
person.
type of person. Yeah,
And they're
for
out
sure.
there, and it's fine. It's just
For sure.
I'm not one of them. And
Oh,
it doesn't
neither
sound
am
like
I.
You're one of them either.
Yeah. Fuck no.
And obviously, there's
Absolutely
enough people
not.
out there that are, because like, why else would they have? Because like
Success with it.
especially lately, like the festival is like the thing now.
Yeah.
In the last, what would you say, like 5-6 years?
Even
It's
more than
really-
that. Like the last 10 years.
10
I think
years,
been
like it's
huge.
really like exploded.
Yeah,
Like, it used to
absolutely.
be like Lollapalooza was like the festival, and that was it.
Well, then
That's
you
all
got
we
festival
needed.
tours. You know what I mean? Like touring
Right.
festivals. Warp
But
Tour
then
became big.
What do we have here? Like Lollapalooza, Riot Fest,
Chicago Open Air.
Open Air.
Yeah.
There was the other big like
Blues
EDM,
Fest,
there's
technically.
Blues Fest. That always happens.
Yeah.
But
still, I mean, it's a music fest.
right.
And
And then you have the destination ones there,
yeah.
like Coachella, Burning Man. Like
Yeah.
there's so many of them.
Yeah.
like-
there really are. There are a lot.
I'm sure there's somebody out there that's like hit them all up. Like I wonder.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's got to be like fucking dedication, though.
Yeah, really.
Imagine that. That's a lot of money, too.
It is a lot of money. I mean,
So,
not
like,
only flights and
somebody do
living
that.
situations, but
Somebody has to have done it by now.
yeah, maybe Hasib, dude.
Nah,
Not all the big festivals, but he's done some cool ones.
I'm sure he has. Yeah.
My buddy Eric went to a black metal festival, like a black metal, like acoustic folk festival thing. Eric,
shit.
years ago. Yeah, we should have him on here to talk about that
Fuck yeah.
because that was cool. And it was like a camping festival. He camped out like in forget where it was, Oregon, somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, I think. Somewhere
Okay.
really nice.
That's nice.
Yeah. So, and he had a great time, but he went by himself.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now here I
So-
am patting myself in the back for going to a movie theater by myself. Jesus.
Yeah, for real, man.
Good for him.
Yeah. Whew, man. I just realized that this was not empty and I put a toothpick full of resin in it. So, RIP. That's almost empty, though.
Just watch
So,
the replay, everybody.
yeah, so stupid. Wow. That's what weed'll do to you, kids.
Hitters.
I don't know. I guess I had one in my bag. So there was two clean ones. So here they are. You
No,
want one?
officer, it's just a cigarette that just doesn't seem to go down when I light it.
Yeah, you know.
As cigarettes
The
want to be.
e-cigarette kind, it's a hybrid. Let me show you how it works.
That's why it clinks.
Have a little puff, officer. You'll love it. Whoa, kid, you ever want to listen to a Bob Marley record front to back?
That was another good
Whoa.
point that guy had when he was like, the riot, like police showed up and
Yeah.
nothing bad happened. They were just like shushing him out. Like, come on,
Yeah.
get out, guys. Come on.
Yeah, they were doing nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like, that dude had a good point. He's like, if it was any other festival, like a hip hop fest, dude, it would have been fucking war. You
Yeah.
know? Like, and in 99, they would have gotten away with it too.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. It's still, though, yeah, that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous that they just didn't have police monitoring that fest, like, after that incident. You know, it's like, why, after something
even after
that chaotic?
that one night of like just the destruction of like all the stuff there during break stuff, you would think
yeah.
they would up the authorities there, but it's like, nah, that probably costs money
Yeah,
you
fuck
know.
it.
to have cops there.
Yeah, so, nope. Yeah, so the mayor is just going to reside on Anthony Kiedis telling everybody to stop rioting.
You tell him to be like chill as fuck with that.
Can you just
maybe,
tell him to like stop,
you know,
dude?
maybe, stop the fires.
What the
The
fuck?
blaring
Stupid
fire
fucking
over there.
idiot.
Could you make him stop that?
Oh my God, so
good,
stupid.
I love that. The reaction was the best thing ever. Oh yeah, let my fire. We'll do that. What? It's just like go in. But I ended up watching. You can go on YouTube and find everybody's set from Woodstock, and I watched Limp Bizkit and Korn's like set. It was awesome. The Korn one's really cool, only because this is right before. Is it Issues? What's the one after Follow the Leader?
I don't know.
I think it's Issues. Somebody's yelling at me now. It's right
you're
before the album was gonna they
drop?
were working on that album actually.
Oh, okay.
Because he even mentions, he's like, yeah, we haven't done a show in a while because we're in the studio working on a new album, and they play new songs, and they're just slightly different than the original ones. So it's kind of fun to hear that.
That is awesome when bands would do
they're
shit
decent
like that.
sounding mixes.
Yeah.
They sound pretty good, which is cool.
I remember when the Faceless was doing that with Xenochrist.
I do remember seeing videos and stuff of them.
I remember seeing them play that before
really?
it was out, and they were playing it differently.
Remember
Yeah,
the Necrophages song that was floating around for a while.
Oh yeah,
was
I
the
saw
best.
them play that too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was so. That one Faceless experience was Summer Slaughter 2008. So I believe it was the same year Planetary came out, but it didn't come out till like I want to say September that year or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anyway, awesome fucking record, obviously.
Right.
And I remember then I saw. What was the second band we were just talking about that you just mentioned? And I was like, oh, Necrophagus. Yeah, they played Dawn and Demise, that new song.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah. I saw them play it at Summer Slaughter 2009, which was the year after.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's sick.
My junior year in high school. Going into senior year.
Oh, were you here? I think you had left already. But so Nate saw Limp Bizkit at the Metro last night. I think I don't know. I haven't talked to him yet. I'm curious to hear his version of it and then Eddie Gobo's version of it because I feel like they're going to be two vastly different versions.
Yeah.
Mainly because Nate is not a Bizkit fan.
Yeah.
I think at all. I think like it was never a thing for him.
Well, Nate's obviously was terrified for his life before the event anyway. So,
but also like I think he's not one that has like denounced the Bizkit. I think he just never was a Bizkit fan, which is fine.
Yeah.
And but I blew his mind the other day because I was like, "Yo, dude, like, you gotta tell me what kind of like 4-string guitar Wes is gonna be playing." He's like, "What?" I was like, "He plays a 4-string." He goes, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "You didn't know?" I was like, "That song Nookie." And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's a 4-string guitar." He's like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Yeah." And so if you go online, you just look at Wes Borland 4-string guitar. You'll find like he has different brand, like PRS made him one in the video for Nookie. It's a PRS like, custom 4-string guitar bass like hybrid thing.
That's cool.
And I saw a video the other day from the Metro show, and he's playing some weird looking guitar.
Dude, you know what I did the other day? I went on Amazon and I bought a copy. It was like $5. I bought a copy of their newest album because I've never heard it. Yeah. I don't even know if it's good or not. I've never heard it ever.
I was just listening on like a streaming site.
Because I was just like, fuck it. I don't have any of their CDs. I was like, I'm just going to get it. And I liked how bad the album cover was. So I was like, I got to have
I don't even know
this.
what it looks like.
It's
Is it a golden cobra?
Sort of. I'll show you.
It has a horrible name, but then again, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, who gives a shit?
Let me find this.
Why'd you buy like one of the big ones?
I don't know.
Man,
Because like I've heard those. You know what I mean?
they're so good. I listened to Significant Other the other day. I was driving when we left practice. I was
Yeah.
listening to
Jace
it.
was talking about how much he likes that album the other day.
It's, you know what cracked me up was like,
That's the album cover. Yeah, look at that.
that is, Jesus, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You're a huge band. Like, what do you, is like one of their kids do this or something? Like,
I don't know.
ugh.
Yeah, right? So I wanted to have it.
Pretty cringe.
There's other cool artwork like in the CD and shit.
Is there?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's Wes Borland. Because he
Maybe.
tends to do drawings kind of like that. Now I feel bad.
Maybe.
If you look up, what was it? Big Dumb Face. That's all his like art in that.
Big Dumb Face. What is that?
His solo project.
Oh.
I have that on CD.
Is it good?
Not really. It's fun. It's kind of like it's like Crotch Duster before Crotch Duster.
Oh, wow.
But not nearly as funny.
Yeah.
And less metally. But heavy for it being West Borland. Like, I think his brother was involved or something like that.
Yeah. Jaco Borland.
Sure.
You like that?
But is that the
just
first
like how
album
big
with West Borland back?
I don't think so. I think
Was
they
there
did.
one more before it?
Yeah, didn't they do that one that had like the Dictator on it and it was like an EP or something?
The Dictator.
Hold on, I'll look it up. I just got to make sure West Borland's on it, but I think he is. It was an EP. Let me see.
I think.
Yeah, The Unquestionable Truth in 2005.
Oh, ooh, that might not. Well, that was with Wes?
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
it was.
Results May Vary was the one without him.
Yeah, that was the
The
without
guy
him.
from Snot. Fuck, maybe I'll check out Gold Cobra.
Yeah. I don't know if it's good or bad.
I mean, it's Biscuit.
I should have brought it in the car. On the way here, I didn't even think about it. Oh well. But cool
Weird,
CD.
It's like a best of album.
I think they're working on a new one.
That's the rumor going on right now.
They had one called Stampede of the Disco Elephants or something.
What happened?
I don't know. It's shelved or they're still working on it or whatever.
They're waiting on Sam's liver transplant.
As he's playing with them apparently.
Yeah, he was in the
apparently
video.
John Otto's not playing with them.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Obo about that because, like, when I was watching videos, I was like, that's not John Otto.
Yeah,
at
they
all.
got some filling,
What a
dude.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I like
Yeah,
that
it is a
guy's
bummer.
drummer.
Me too.
Got that little piccolo snare.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the other CDs. I think.
You should.
Yeah,
They're great. They need more money.
maybe I will. We'll see. But yeah, I do like that band. I used to think they were so sick when I was like 7.
It's understandable.
Yeah, the first song I
They
heard
were
was
sick.
"Take a Look
They are
Around."
sick.
So it was the song on the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, but I wasn't allowed. My parents wouldn't let me have Limp Bizkit CDs back then. They would not. That was one of the borders
That's
that they
awesome.
didn't. They were like, "No, you're not doing that." And
Okay,
I was
I'll
like,
trust this
"Okay."
then.
And I was like, "But can I get the soundtrack?" So they were like, "Yeah, you get the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack."
That's clean
But
cut.
that's how I ended up getting into Metallica because "I Disappear" was on there, and that was like one of the first
yeah.
Metallica songs I'd ever
That's
heard.
awesome.
And it's a sick song. I love that
I know, you
song.
love that
and
song.
Nate's just like cringing right now. But like, or just smiling and being like, "Oh, you guys." But yeah, I love that song. Butthole Surfers are on that soundtrack.
Really?
Yeah, there's a bunch of other cool artists.
I
But,
just remember the Biscuit song and the Metallica song.
Yeah, there's some weird like one-hit wonders on there that never really went anywhere too. But yeah, those were the big. That was track 1 and 2, I think. Was like those 2 songs, and I had it on cassette tape, dude. I had a little
Even
Walkman.
better.
Yeah, I had
Hell
it on
yeah.
cassette, and then I got it on CD. But yeah, then by the time I could listen to Limp Bizkit, I had no interest, and they were barely even a band anymore. Like Results May Vary was out, but my mom was already buying me CDs with parental advisories. But at that point, I was like, I wanted to listen to Slipknot, and they were on Volume 3.
That's understandable.
So I was just like, they're more metal, and like I was more into that type of shit.
Trying to find the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, and there's like a whole hodgepodge of shit on Spotify. So
Yeah,
I'm not
I don't know if
gonna
it's
bother.
on there. I don't think there's like an actual. The songs are. I mean, for most of the artists,
There should be like a wiki article of it, right?
Yeah, Mission Impossible 2.
Is it Mission Impossible 2?
Yes. Fuck yeah, it is, dude. I Disappear. Fucking Metallica. Dude, that's like, me and Max have talked about this many times, but like that era of Metallica, like I wish they made an album. Like pre Saint Anger, while Newstead was still in the band, like after Reload.
Yeah, Nate is not a fan of that idea, right?
No, I'm sure he's not. But like No Leaf Clover and Minus Human and shit.
All right, here's the track listing. So
Yeah.
it opens with Take a Look Around by Limp Bizkit, which makes sense because they use the theme. I Disappear by Metallica.
Yeah.
Scum of the Earth by Rob Zombie.
Yeah. Scum of the Earth, come on.
They Come In by Butthole Surfers.
Yep.
Rocket Science by The Pimps.
Yeah.
Have a Cigar, which is a Pink Floyd cover by the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
And Brian May.
Yeah.
Dude, that was everything that cracked me up was Creed in that doc. Why did they have Scott Stapp
I
in
don't
there?
know.
Like, fuck.
And he's barely in it too. It's like, why is he here?
He even talks about how they were like barely liked at that thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why?
And him and Kid Rock like bumping.
Other than
fists.
the fact that they brought in what's his name?
Did they have a sex tape together, those guys?
I know Scott Stapp had a sex tape, but I don't know if it was with Kid Rock.
Oh, I thought it was.
Maybe it was. I can't remember. But who did they bring on the stage? And like they were like, nobody gave a shit.
Oh, the dude from the Doors, the guitar player.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Mr. Jeremy, and he's like old as fuck. And it's like, yeah, why is this guy playing with Creed?
It's like of all the bands that they brought that guy out with.
And they were trying to do like be like musically, more musically inclined. And it's like, okay.
Also, because they talk, I wish they talked more about it, but obviously they'll probably do it in maybe like a future episode. But like the era of grunge,
yeah,
that was a cool moment in there. That as short-lived as grunge was, so was that segment, which I thought was kind of funny. But like Creed was like, "We're post grunge." I was like, "No, you're not. You're just some shit rock band. Like, chill, chill."
But people consider them that. I think.
Really?
I think people.
Like
definitely. Like, I think you would find that on their Wikipedia. Like they definitely think about it. Like they came up with a lot of those like bands labeled. That's like when people call Breaking Benjamin a post grunge band. It's like what?
That
I don't hear that. Yeah, but they do though. You know what I mean? And I don't get it.
That's
but
definitely just an alternative rock.
I don't know. Yeah, to me it sounds like alternative
Creed
rock.
Is too like. I don't know. I don't picture Creed as like a post. I mean, they have their moments, I guess.
What is true post grunge? Like, what would you label as a true post grunge band?
I don't know.
Let's see what bands
I
pop
hate
up if I
post
just
something. But anyway, going back, Mission 2000 by Chris Cornell.
Yep, good song.
Going Down by Godsmack. What You Looking At by Uncle Cracker. Backwards by Apartment 26. That sounds familiar.
That song was sick.
Karma by Diffuser. Alone by Buck Cherry.
Bad.
Immune.
Hated that song back then too.
I don't even know what that song is. Buck Cherry was never on my radar. I was just like, fuck this band. Like,
there's a block of songs on the CD I would fast forward through.
Immune by Tin Fed.
I don't remember.
My Kind of Scene by Powderfinger.
Yeah, like what?
Carnival by Tori Amos. And then Naya Hans Zimmer featuring Heitor Pierre.
Yeah, I don't know. Falls off. The first two songs are the best.
It's a loaded front end for sure.
Boom, wow, boom, boom, wow. But anyway.
But yeah, I'm curious to see if like where this like whole documentary show goes. And,
yeah, it's cool.
Like I said, it'd be nice if they actually talk about the grunge era things.
Yeah, it would be cool if they did that.
Kind of like how you were like really young with like new metal and going into it. That's how grunge was for me.
For you, sure.
You know, like I was a little too young to really understand what was going on with it, but I just remember it being everywhere and liking it, you know, because it was on the radio and I was like, this is cool. Like, Nirvana was a big reason why I played music, like hearing all that stuff. But yeah, and they touch on it. It does seem like when Kurt Cobain killed himself, it was like he killed grunge, like almost. You know, it was just like, all right, we're done. Yeah, moving on. Like, kind of crazy the impact that guy had on the world with that. Which we'll see if they even talk. It was weird. I mean, did all those dudes grew up with that stuff?
What? The fucking what's the iconic Soundgarden album? Soundgarden. You know what I'm talking about? The one after, the one with Rusty, the one with Black Hole Sun on it.
Yeah.
I can't think of what it's called.
Everybody's yelling at us right now.
Why can't you think of this amazing band?
Soundgarden was never. I liked that band, but I never bought anything by them.
Did that album come out after he died, though? That's what I want to know.
After Kurt Cobain
Yeah.
died? So when did Kurt Cobain die? It was in 94, right? They said.
Super Unknown is what the album's called.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, yeah. So then, Kurt Cobain died in 94. Yeah. Because, like, I feel like that record was very, like, I don't know, more experimental for a grunge band. Like, based on what I've heard from it. But,
well, they've always kind of been like that, though.
Yeah.
The weird time signatures and whatnot.
Yeah,
and
yeah. But,
cool.
yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, I guess it did really come and go. But then those bands sort of just, those musicians ended up still sticking around, a lot of them, just doing different shit. Like Foo Fighters, Audio Slave, you know? Like, that's technically post-grunge, though. Like,
yeah. But that's
it's
even an
after
amalgamation of Rage Against the Machine, which is technically a new metal.
Yeah.
Which it was like another thing when they were like, "Oh, new metal is like misogynistic." I was like, "You got Rage Against the Machine. How come you're not talking about them? They're the polar opposite."
I
they
feel
kind of
like
like touched on a little bit, but not really.
Rage. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Rage Against the Machine also varies on, like, yeah, I guess they are labeled as new metal. I don't know. In my head, I always feel like they're more like almost in the same, like a serious and heavy Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, yeah, because I feel like they have the same kind of, like, we're just fucking like cool dudes vibe. Obviously, they're way more politically driven, and like lyrically, they're not anywhere close to each other. But almost like aesthetically, I see a certain kind of connection with just like how they like present themselves as dudes. Yeah, I think so. At least back then.
Really, Chili Peppers are like, "Hey man, we're total California surfers," and like Rage Against the Machine is not that. Like,
no, but they're also like dudes that look cool. Like the bass player is like a dude that looks like I could see him like being in that kind of like caliber, and I just feel like there's a lot of overlap with that, with like fans of those bands, at least with people that I know. Like a lot of people a lot of people in my age caliber that I know, usually like those are like bands
go,
that
like,
are
hand in hand.
Oh yeah. Like, dude, when I grew up in like high school and shit, like if any like kids on the outside of like civilians, as you would call them, like if any of them had like band merch, it was either a Stadium Arcadium Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt, or it was the classic Rage Against the Machine graffiti outlined album cover t-shirt.
Weird.
Yeah. And it was just like, oh, okay, everybody likes Rage Against the Machines now. And it was almost like to me, and maybe it's just my stupid brain, but like I feel like they sit outside the new metal norm. Like I almost put them more into like the alternative rock category, because it's like, you know, I don't know, what would you compare it to?
They have like the hip hop kind of like influence moments for sure.
But then again, they're way more of a rock band than the Beastie Boys or something like that, you know? So it's kind of like, and I guess that's why I compare it. Like maybe that's why I do that crossover too, is because Anthony Kiedis tries to have that like sort of like a little bit of a hip hop flair with some of his shit. You know,
he always just kind of touches on it a little bit.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, okay. But this guy, like Zach De La Rocha, is like way better than you
Vastly
at it.
Better,
and like
way smarter.
Yeah,
way more
you know. But then again, Rage is a band that's like, aren't they just touring again? I'm not like a Rage fan, really. I mean, I don't mind them. Like, I don't have anything against them, but I never gave a shit, really. Yeah. Like, I don't think I've ever listened to any of their records front to back.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I like it a lot. I grew up with it, and as somebody that played bass, that's a band that was like influential too, just because like, as far as the riffs go, they were never that hard riffs, you know, like, but they were just so fucking.
Dude, my dad always liked Rage Against the Machines more than I did.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I was like, okay.
I don't know. There's just something about the writing too that is like vastly more memorable than I would say. The Chili Peppers
very catchy.
And like,
and it still has that like funk element almost.
Yeah, which is just so much more fun. And there's moments where like Zach is just like so like just into it and pissed off, where you're like, fuck yeah. Like like they do a great job of capturing the energy of like what that band tries to represent.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Like, yeah, I don't know. I loved everything they've done. Like all the albums are great. Even the ones that, like the cover one that they did, which is like a lot of fucking fun, and like it's cool because then I don't know, that to me seems pretty
cover album.
So you might like that one. It's cool as fuck. Like, it's essentially all stuff that like influenced them to be the band that they are. And they're just covering it. It's the coolest fucking thing ever.
That's cool.
And it sounds so good. Like, if you heard it half the time, you were like, "Oh, this is just a Rage song." You know, it's like a little bit different, but this is just a Rage song. You're like, "Oh no, it's all they're all covers." Yeah, and it's super fucking cool. But
sick.
Yeah, I don't know. I like their. I guess the self-title is probably my favorite album of theirs. Like,
okay,
and it's so fucking good. Like, I knew that album front to back on bass.
Sure. So obviously it had a big impact on you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, I never even had a CD of theirs.
That's
like,
so funny.
They were never that band for me.
I never owned a Chili Pepper CD.
Neither did I.
Hated the Chili Peppers. I still
Me too.
Don't like them.
Do you not like them?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So then we both have the same bias,
They
which
have
I feel like
one
is unfair.
good song, and it's that song "Suck My Kiss." And other than that, I don't care.
Well,
about
I
the
mean,
rest of it.
obviously they have more good songs. We just don't like them.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
My preference, just the one song. I mean, they're a huge band, so I mean, obviously
They have major
they're
success.
doing something
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And there is like, I guess, like an aesthetic to them that people gravitate towards.
California, dude.
Yeah, no more songs
Dream
about
of
California.
Californication. Who sings that?
What?
No more songs about California.
Local H.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's on the album that's not streaming, but it's called Whatever Happened to PJ Souls.
Nice.
The actress from Stripes.
Nice. What happened to him?
Oh, it was a woman. I don't know. She just dropped off. She stopped acting,
Yeah.
which is a bummer. Apparently, she had the potential to become like a much bigger actress.
Yeah.
and
Sam sent me a TikTok link.
Uh-oh.
I'm not going to open it. Should I open it?
No.
Yeah, I won't. We'll have a fucking Christina P moment, dude.
No. TikToks.
Yeah, I
don't use it. I don't understand it. It scares me.
I never I just never had that Rage never made that impact on me. Like at that point I was like, "Oh, Niall." Like, you know, like
that's a bummer. Like I can't think of his name off the top of my head. It's like Brandon something. The drummer is like awesome.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
See, I always liked the drummer for Limp Bizkit. I always thought he was the shit.
Oh, John is awesome too.
He's good.
Because he has that hip hop like influence.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is so cool. And like it
And a sick
blends itself.
slam snare. And like
the piccolo
yeah. Yeah, he's good.
He always has like a gigantic kit, which is funny.
Yeah. Yeah, he always did have a really big kit. At least in every picture I've seen of him. That's sick. That's awesome.
Speaking of drummers, Joey Jordison.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I do remember hearing something about how he had that condition or whatever.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot about it. And then obviously it's hard not to know about it now that he's since passed from it, which I didn't know it was like that. I didn't know it was like something terminal. Like,
yeah.
Which is a little scary because he's 46, right?
I think so. 46 or 48.
Fucking young.
I can't remember. Yeah, very young.
Also, way tinier than I thought. 5'4". Mm-hmm. He was a tiny, tiny little dude. Jim
I
Root
always knew he was short.
6'6".
Yeah. You could eat him.
Yeah. He could just like pick him up like his backpack.
Yeah.
Like hysterical. Crazy, man. Like
it is crazy. It's been funny observing like the community that I've been like close knitting to react to this just because like I've seen certain people just like blow the fuck up and just be like the greatest drummer in the world has died. And then I've seen other people that are just like saying shit like, "Oh, so now all of a sudden you're a Slipknot fan?" Now you're like the singer from Arcspire was saying that.
Yeah, I heard he was like,
and
he's always got something to say about somebody.
Yeah, and whatever, I don't care. Like, and it's like, okay, maybe a valid point to him, but like, I will say that Slipknot as a band definitely they were one of my first metal bands. They were definitely a gateway band for me. Like, that was one of the first bands I listened to that like I could like get screaming and like stomach it and just be fine with like that type of music. Like, they were one of the bands that helped me bridge that gap. But Joey Jordison as a drummer, like he was never like, I always thought he was sick, but he never was like, I need to do shit like him. Like,
that's fair.
By the time I was like starting to really take an interest in playing drums, like actually playing, you know what I mean? Like playing them, I didn't like Slipknot anymore. Like I was on to like Pantera, Metallica, like, I don't know, the classic bands. And then I started getting into death metal and shit. So
fair enough.
yeah, it just wasn't for me. But like the dude is a major talent and it does suck, you know? I think it's like,
I think people kind of like take for granted his writing ability too. Like he was a huge writer in all the biggest Slipknot songs. Like
absolutely.
nobody talked about that at all. There's like a great drummer. I was like, how about a songwriter? Like,
and I know a lot of it was his vision too.
Yeah.
So like, it does suck that like I don't know. I mean, obviously he's done other things since then that have not nearly been as successful.
Right.
I think he did the Murder Dolls was successful, but like
that
in a different way.
Successful.
But I don't know. I just think that I think it sucks that he wasn't able to like continue with Slipknot. I think it sucks that they never were able to make something crazy work, like just have him and Jay Weinberg do it together because they already have 18 drummers.
Yeah,
and it's just like, dude, add another guy, man. Like King Crimson has 3 drummers. It's like, come on, like they could do it. You guys could do it.
Be cool.
And and it's just like I don't know. It sucks. It sucks when anybody that you like or has made an impact dies, and it's gonna suck, everybody. So get ready because everybody you love and everybody you like is gonna fucking die. So you know what?
That was another subject yesterday that everybody was just like, "Fuck that guy." I was like, "All right, I get it."
I just wish there was more of like maybe in the future, social media can be constructed in a way where there's certain spaces that type of stuff is sort of like happening. As to the people that may not want to see it, have a way to filter through something like that, even though that sounds insane. But it's like, I don't know, maybe it like, I would have a hard time believing that it doesn't fuck some people up sometimes too. Just like having a mass amount of people make comments on something that it's just like, oh, we have to feel this way about this thing. And it's like,
it pressures you a little bit.
Yeah. And it's like, you shouldn't feel that way.
I mean, they should just have like virtual like memorial walls or something. You can post that stuff on.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Really have some legitimate, heartfelt thing to say about this person.
Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah. It's a little much. I don't really need to see it on my social media, but.
And I liked how every death metal guy, all they were like, was like, man, we got to give it up to Joey for bringing the blast beat to the masses. And it's like, okay, guys, can you say anything nicer? Like, can you say...
I mean, he did do that. He
did that. But like, let's also talk about like how much of an impact this entire band made on the metal community,
and commercialized in general.
It's just like, why don't you acknowledge that? Blast beat to the masses. It's like, yeah, cool, okay. That's why maybe your band is not as big as Slipknot.
It was like more recently, a friend of mine brought up. They're like, yeah, did you see like Joey Jordison was like ranked like #1 drummer in like metal? And he was like, what do you think of that? I was like, I don't think he comes close to any of the other drummers out there. I was like, don't get me wrong. As far as like large commercial metal bands, he's
top
one
tier.
Of the best.
Yeah,
absolutely. As far as across the board metal bands, no. There's far better guys out there. Unfortunately, just not in bigger bands.
Yeah,
but at the same time, that dude has definitely influenced probably some of my favorite drummers.
Oh, absolutely.
Today, so. Gotta give him that.
Same. Yeah. I mean, there's no denying his influence. So it's just like,
So it's just a bummer because it's just like.
Yeah, it is a bummer.
He was young,
Yeah, it does.
That's
suck.
the part that sucks. Is to see somebody like that.
Yeah.
Who knows what he would have done if he was, tip top healthy shape and still going. Like maybe he would have done some other project that would have done even better than before. Like granted, the last couple weren't necessarily the best, but
I remember Scar the Martyr.
I just remember the other one.
Vimic. Yeah. I think that's what it became.
Right. A couple of member changes and then was that or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just remember not liking that.
Yeah.
At all.
Same.
I wasn't a big Murder Dolls fan either, man. I did not like that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I remember when that came out, I was like, oof. I was like, I'm good. But
it's way different.
Have since met one of the members from that, which is that dude Wednesday 13. And
you met him?
I toured with him.
Oh.
In Europe. And that dude's the shit. Love that guy. He's awesome.
Is he an English dude?
No.
Oh.
He's from West Coast, like California or whatever.
Oh, okay, cool.
That dude's the shit. He's a super fucking nerd. Love it. Loves film. Loves like all things like comic booky and.
Oh, that's cool.
He's cool. He's super nice.
Does he smoke weed?
I don't know. We didn't share a bus. He has a separate
13. What's his name?
I don't know.
Where you're just like, what's up, Wednesday?
Yeah.
What's up, Wendy?
I forgot what his real name is. Like. Somebody told me, but I don't even remember.
Yeah.
It's just easier to call him Wednesday by his stage name. Half the time you wouldn't even recognize him because he was in some crazy like get up.
Oh, okay.
Which that was like one of the craziest things I've ever seen was almost like every 2 songs he would do like a costume change.
Yeah.
And it was nuts. I was like, dude, that looks so
I wonder
tiring.
why, like, they never pursued the Murder Dolls after Joey left Slipknot.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Like that, I feel like that would have been like maybe his next best shot. But Wednesday 13 obviously has a career of his own now.
I think like that Wednesday 13 dude had went through some shit as far as like some sort of like alcohol or drug abuse, I think.
Yeah.
And then had like turned it around and then became like Wednesday 13. And the guitar player in his band, this dude Roman, I believe was in the Murder Dolls at the tail end or something like that. Okay. And they stuck together.
Oh, okay.
It became Wednesday 13. Which, I mean, it's fun. It's I don't know, like, I enjoyed the music when, like, they played. It's not something I ever would have seeked out. I didn't even know he existed until
I don't think I've ever heard a Wednesday 13 song.
It's okay. It's fun. It's just, it's heavy. It's heavy shit. It's not something you'll hear on the radio. You know, like, it's that heavy enough, you know? And it has, like, a bit of, like, a Rob Zombie-esque element to it where it's, like, a very Halloween-themed kind of vibe. And, I don't know. It's fun. They're fun shows. Like, honestly, they don't have the production value of like a Rob Zombie show, but they make it work for.
Yeah, Rob Zombie's like kind of sick. There's some songs I like by him that I don't listen to.
Hellbilly Deluxe is my shit.
Yeah, I should listen to it. Those would be. I would kill those karaoke songs, dude.
You think you could do it?
Drive to the back of my Dracula. Yeah, I could fucking do it. Are you kidding me?
It doesn't sound like you can.
Oh yeah, not today, but I could. Maybe I will. I was never really a big fan though, like of White Zombie or Rob Zombie. But I respect them.
I had
Mr. Robert Zombert.
An album that the only album I ever owned by White Zombie was the big one, Astro Creep 2000. Yeah. Is that the right number? 2000, 3000, 4000, 9000? I don't know. It's a something thousand.
Yeah, Mystery Science Theater, Astro Creep 3000.
And I remember the only reason why I got it was because of the single "More Human Than Human." That song's the shit. I don't care what anybody says. That song is still the shit. But that album, I don't know. Like it's been a while, but I remember like going back to listen to it. I was like, oh man, I don't really like the rest of this. But it's like a huge album for a lot of people.
Which one?
Astro Creep.
Yeah,
that's a huge album for a lot of people. I totally get that. But then he broke off from that and he did his solo, Rob Zombie, and he came out with that album, Hellbilly Deluxe. And for whatever reason, I bought that, and I love that album. I still think that's a great album.
Yeah.
Like, that front to back, that album's the shit.
Does he have another one that's big too?
Well, he's got like shitload of albums. I don't know what other big ones there are. Like he's still going. Like he does still like.
I feel like his new one came out on like Nuclear Blast or something.
What? Really?
Yeah, something like
kind of cool.
That did not was like really this guy now. Oh, his last name is Cummings.
Yeah, Rob Cummings, and then. I'm trying to think what his brother. I know his brother's stage name is Spider One, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it did come out on Nuclear Blast, and Zeus produced it. What the fuck?
What's it called?
The Lunar Injection Cool Aid Eclipse Conspiracy.
Probably a sick album artwork.
The last one, it's just like him. It like looks like some weird '60s edit. It's
cool.
Like, but the last one was called The Electric Warlock Acid Witch Satanic Orgy Celebration Dispenser.
Jesus
Christ.
It's
like, what's going on with you, man?
Just trying to...
What was this out on? That was on Universal Music. Tim, you did a Hillbilly Deluxe 2? You ever listen to that?
Nah, the sequel.
Hillbilly Deluxe. 13 Tales of Cadaverous Cavorting Inside the Spook Show International. Singles, Dracula, Living Dead Girl, Super Beast. And then The Sinister Urge. I remember that one. Demon Speeding.
Which one had the music video that was like a Clockwork Orange?
I don't remember.
That's a cool song.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I don't know. I never, Rob, everything after Hellbilly Deluxe, I don't mind when I hear it.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. Rob Zombie is one of those people. It's like you hear like a Rob Zombie song, you're like, that's Rob Zombie. I did that the other day. I was with Al, and like when I turned my car on, it plays the radio for like a split second, and then it's off. And it did that. I was like, I think that was Rob Zombie. I was like, what? And I like turned it on. I was like, and turned up the music. I was like, yeah, it's Rob Zombie. He goes, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, it's wild.
I was like, I don't know, man.
You can tell that fast.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
I maybe like a second of a song of Rob Zombie.
Yeah, dude. Savant action.
I don't know. There's something about production and stuff that like you can just tell.
Sure.
Like an album or an artist. You know?
More human than human.
Funny stuff.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So sick, dude. Yeah. I wish like I was older for some of that stuff to understand it more.
Yeah,
but also at the same time, I'm like, I think I'm okay.
You're fine.
Yeah. Like Rob Zombie, I don't know. I mean, he still does stuff. He's still very successful, you know?
Well, like he's like, I don't know. I need to go to a Rob Zombie show. I kind of like don't want to because like I don't know the catalog now. Like I wish I
Gobo.
Yeah.
Does he still fuck with Rob Zombie?
Oh hell yeah.
Does he like his new album?
I don't know. But from my understanding, the live show is like one of the best
Sure.
because he puts a lot into it. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah, I've
production
heard that
involved,
too.
which I kind of want to see the spectacle. That is a Rob Zombie show.
Yeah, man. I would like to see something like that too. It probably sounds really good too. Like I've appreciated seeing like.
Well, I mean, he's got John 5 in the fucking band. Like,
Oh, he plays in Rob Zombie's band
yeah.
now.
It's like,
Okay.
dude, talk about top tier guitar players.
Damn. Oh, who's playing drums? So probably some guy I don't even know.
I want to say it's still the same drummer, that dude Tempesta or whatever, Mike Tempesta.
I don't know.
think his brother was a guitar player for his brother's band. We did them on here. Why am I drawing a blank?
We did them. Oh,
Power Man 5000.
Yeah. Okay, now I remember. Power Man 5000. That was a fun album.
And then the original bass player for Rob Zombie is in Ozzy.
Yeah, I knew that.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, Blasco. Is that dude? Rob Blasco?
I think so.
Dude,
Yeah, it was his,
fucking
name.
Blasco, man. He's on Justice show a lot.
Is he really?
Yeah, he
Well,
used
Rob
to be.
Zombie's like the.
You know what? I
king
haven't
of
listened to Justice shit
session.
in so long. It's very rare I
Really?
listen to him anymore. Yeah, I mean, he's just so involved with, like, he does a Patreon now, and, like, I don't know. It's like there's so many inside jokes that I don't understand, and it's all just, like, shit that kind of, like, I'm, like, and he does a great job. Like, I'll still listen to a few episodes if he has somebody that I like on there, but, yeah, I don't know. I guess, like, my tastes in podcasts have, like, diverged away from music, other than I've been catching up on the Cali Death podcast, so that's been fun.
Oh, cool.
Watching some of those.
What was the last one you listened to?
I listened to the Michael Keane one, and then I listened to the one with a dude from Spawn of Possession on, which was great.
Cool.
They were all great. All the episodes I heard were awesome. They actually had the dudes from Anomalous on this last week, which I'm going to start that at some point, either today or tomorrow. So that'll be exciting. Shout out to those dudes. We had Joseph on the show.
Yeah.
So
He's awesome.
yeah, that was cool. I think Joseph's actually been to Burning Man.
Really?
I want to say he has been. Yeah, I should ask him about it.
That's cool.
But not that I know much about it at all, period. But
We need more people. We need to have people on here that have been to festivals and enjoy them. I want to hear
yeah,
what an enjoyable
why?
festival experience is like and
Yeah.
what makes it enjoyable. Because, like, all aspects of a festival just sound terrible.
Yeah.
Like running back and forth to main stages to catch bands and missing other bands and paying
I think
exorbitant amounts
festivals
of fees and
are designed more for like extroverted people too. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely involved in more human
yeah.
engagement. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're interacting with so much more than you would typically be than just at a show. You know, there's so much more to it. There's like
yeah, and like the I think it's just like the party mode people.
yeah.
You know, like the drinkers and the
Yeah,
people that, like,
and you're
do
getting all
drugs and
different
stuff.
kinds of walks
Like,
of life. People there that probably genuinely want to see some cool music.
I'm sure there's sober people there too. But
Yeah,
like,
me too.
but I feel like those people have to be few and far between. You have to be fucked up, right? It's like
I guess.
go to a festival.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. Like my one cousin goes to Burning Fest and he doesn't seem like the kind of person that's doing a shitload of drugs. Like
Maybe people don't, you know? Like I don't think that that's like I wouldn't say that could be the all encompassing, you know?
no, I don't think that's the main drive for a lot
Yeah.
of people. But I feel like that's the more lubricant for it to have you be able to
Sure.
have the stamina. to,
Okay,
like,
I would agree with
get through
that.
that. Which that was another interesting aspect of that Woodstock was like they had a good point how like there's a rhythm to festivals too.
Yeah.
The way they set them up and it makes sense. Whereas Woodstock '99 was just go 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 go
Yeah,
go.
and there was
don't
no-
sleep go go go
Yeah.
go. And like oh my god, that sounds insane.
No relief
So
at
of
all.
course. It was almost like some sort of like internment camp where they were trying to make people go crazy. It was essentially what
Yeah.
Woodstock '99
Yeah.
was. It was just like this
shot.
mental warfare at all times. Like, don't sleep. Like, stay awake.
Dude.
Stay on your toes. You know, like
So brutal.
it's so crazy.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's no shocker that it ended the way that it did. And yeah, it's funny that they mentioned that like the guy was going to do a 50-year and for whatever reason backed out.
Yeah.
Curious as to they gave some, lackluster excuse, which was like there were setbacks.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's way more to it than that.
But at least they didn't go through with it instead of having another disaster. Albeit if it would have even turned to that, I don't think every music fest is essentially turned into a disaster.
No.
Especially these days with such harmless like acts. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we're in a period of time where like the aggressive music is not a main
at the forefront.
thing.
Yeah, radical music is not at the forefront. You know?
It is all about.
Yeah.
Now's a great time for Woodstock.
Yeah.
To be honest, now is a great time for Woodstock.
Yeah.
We're in this era now of like trying to be PC and like inclusive and not aggressive in any way. And, like that's ironic.
Think about your lineup.
50-year anniversary of Woodstock actually probably would have been
safer.
Way safer. But I don't know. Having those guys run it just doesn't seem like a good idea because, like, they even said in '69 it was a disaster and the army came in and like had to help people out. So obviously those guys just can't run a fest.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point, like,
but there's so many other festivals that you can go to.
Yeah, and they would have
ran by much better people.
Yeah, I mean, you would figure too that at least they might have learned their lesson.
Yeah, but look, this is the third Woodstock, and they know that the previous ones were disasters.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing it seemed like the only thing they learned from '94 was to get a bigger fence.
Yeah, right?
That was their only takeaway.
Jesus Christ.
But nobody said anything bad about '94 other than the fence getting broken down. But nobody said that but that was also that era too, where like, I mean, they were showing the Cranberries playing and like those were like big bands. It's like, oh yeah, these aren't aggro fucking bands.
Yeah.
Like, not at that time. That was like our version now of like the way more peaceful aspect of music. So yeah, they just worked out in their favor,
Yeah.
But then again, it could have been bad, I guess. I don't know. They didn't talk about it enough. Like,
yeah.
I think that just went well enough that it's just like, there's not a controversy for us to talk about.
Yeah.
So we'll probably never hear or see a documentary about the '94 Woodstock.
Yeah.
It's like it's life though. It's like you never hear about the good stuff, you only hear about the bad stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that one guy, shitty as he was, I mean, he probably did have a point of like, there probably were more people that did have a good time than a bad time.
Yeah.
At Woodstock '99, given them.
Yeah, not everybody seemed traumatized,
Right.
Like, yeah.
But still, the bad things that happened shouldn't have been.
I mean, it's amazing that it didn't get shut down. I don't understand how that didn't even happen.
Money, man. I'm thinking like that. The mayor probably just thought like, or the governor or mayor. It was probably just like, oh no, we have way too much money to be made off these people coming into this town, and spending money. That we got to keep it going, man. Yeah,
love Rome.
Never been to Rome.
Neither have I. Nor Rome, Italy, nor Rome,
or Woodstock. Have you been to Woodstock, Illinois?
Yeah,
I've been there.
Mike, cool. I have a cousin that lives in Woodstock.
Really?
Yeah, I think she still does. I don't know if she still does, but yeah, nothing eventful to report in Woodstock, Illinois. But yeah, I've driven through there a few times. I used to when I drove for the bakery. A whole bunch. Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
Definitely.
All right. Well, that was fun Woodstock talk.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you watched it. And,
yeah, it was a very interesting watch. I appreciate your recommendation. And like I said, it was funny because the other day I was like with my parents and they had it on the TV and I ended up watching a bunch of it there. And I was like, oh, I should watch this whole thing. And then I was like, oh, maybe Bill's talking about that thing on HBO. And I'm like, oh, this is the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I just watched the whole thing from start to finish at work, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, I think it's a good documentary for anybody, I think, to really watch.
Yeah,
like in our age.
Yeah, it's just interesting,
bracket,
because like I didn't know how fucked up. I didn't know how fucked up it was.
I mean, I told you, like I watched some of that in real time on MTV, and I don't even remember it being that fucked up. When you hear this, you're like, ooh.
Well, yeah. Looking back at it now.
But it also only justifies my, my disdain for festivals.
Yeah. And Moby.
Yeah, Moby.
Yeah.
That fucking guy.
Fucking
he was in
idiot.
it way too much, too. I
Yeah,
felt
he
like.
was. Yeah.
But every time he was on the screen, I was just like, "Ugh."
Yeah. Get this bald fuck out of here.
Stupid
Yeah.
fucking tattoos. Like,
Yeah.
coffee cup in his hand, that little motherfucker.
Yeah, okay, dude. We get it. Steve Jobs Jr.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's my biggest qualm with that documentary is like, I wish they had more people involved that were there as far as the musicians go.
Yeah, I
coming in
agree.
there. Unless they did, and they probably said too many fondly things about it that they're like, oh, fuck, we can't use this,
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. But I mean, obviously, a lot of people didn't hold back. That whole fest was pretty much getting shit on for most of that documentary. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I think it would have been cooler to have more recognizable faces instead of just so many. Like, yeah, it was cool to have a couple of different like people in the audience, but then it's like, I don't know a lot of these people. And after a while, I'm like, let me get more credible people here. I would like that.
I did enjoy the fan.
I enjoyed a couple
interviews.
of them, but I
Those are
didn't need like 7 of them,
Yeah, like the one. Although I did enjoy the guy, I didn't really need him. That bald guy at the end that was like, remember he said like, I was a mom and a kid and I was burning shit. Like,
Yeah, it's like, oh,
I didn't need him.
okay.
I saw the video.
That's
Like,
fine.
We don't need him. Once again, the other one that I liked, that girl from like the East Coast, I thought she was awesome, but like we didn't need her. To be, like,
exactly.
heard the wall coming down. I was like, what, Pink Floyd? That was
it's
a
like,
great
what?
joke, but
yeah,
like,
funny joke, but
we're
that's
good.
not
We
it.
didn't need her.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, oh, okay.
I did like the guy that had the friend that passed away was good.
Yeah.
I liked having him on there. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, because that was an interesting story. Because it's like, what would you do back then if that happened?
Yeah, that was.
He was like, yeah, I
vastly
call
more
his
interesting
parents,
story.
and it's just like, holy fuck, I would be crying if I had
Could
to
you
do that,
imagine like
shitting my
losing a
pants.
friend at like a festival, like having a friend die?
Yeah, and then just being, I would be so worried I would get blamed for it, and then just like, even though I knew it wouldn't be my fault, but still, it's just like,
I don't know, man. It would suck.
You know,
It would just
parents.
live with that.
yeah, it would suck. It sucks.
What was it? And then there was another guy. I did enjoy the Limp Bizkit guy a lot.
Yeah,
That guy was kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought that
also
guy was
didn't need
funny.
to be in there.
yeah,
The other dude that was like, the other guy that looked like he was super fucking young, and I was like, how old were you during
Yeah.
this? Like 7? Like what
Yeah.
the fuck? Like the blonde haired dude or whatever
Yeah,
that was in
yeah,
it
yeah,
very
yeah.
briefly. Could have done without that guy. Could have done without Dave Mustaine too.
yeah, stupid. Filler
Oh,
shit.
I enjoyed seeing him.
Yeah.
And looking
I
like
did
so
too.
decrepit, like in that chair. But I don't know.
It would have been
Jesus
cool to
Christ.
hear him talk more about the fest and not just Napster. Like I would.
Yeah,
I don't want to
why
see
did
that.
They tap him for that. He was literally the last act
I don't know.
of that.
Yeah,
You don't think he has some sort of like insight on that? Like at the
Yeah.
end, like what the fuck?
Yeah,
And then he's saying, what was it? Peace sells and nobody's buying or whatever.
yeah. And Moby left because it was not a safe space. So
He could tell in the back of his
Yeah.
head that
it's instincts.
'cause
Yeah,
he's been doing it for so long that he can tell.
but his safe space is in his head with Natalie Portman. So
Right.
and they
Like,
date.
oh, you didn't leave before they cut that fucking check for you though? Okay, Moby. All right,
Yeah,
buddy.
of course.
Wasn't that scary then?
Yeah, stupid.
Fucking asshole. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna go listen to Moby after this.
yeah. Me too.
Just to be like, what the fuck was
I like
this
that one song.
What was like?
Hey, woman! It's like a piano song. I'll play it after the air.
All right, yeah,
But it's a sick song.
I'm sure if I heard it, I would remember it. But yeah, I just like, I don't even know why I know Moby. Like, I just know him.
Yeah. I mean, he was big back then. I think
Yeah,
the song's called Porcelain.
fuck if I know.
Yeah.
But you're right. I wish they did have like somebody from Metallica. Would have been cool.
Yeah. Would have been.
Even they should have got Lars. If they were to talk about Napster, why didn't they bring Lars in there to talk about it? Of course, he's probably like over talking about that shit now.
Yeah, I don't even think he would at this
probably
point.
not,
I don't think
yeah.
he's got any tolerance for some shit like that.
Why did they talk about Napster?
Because they were talking about how like they were making a stance
commercialization
about how
and
like
stuff.
people were taking music back into their own hands, like the music industry was taken back into their own hands, and how artists were admitting that that was a smart move, and it is a smart move. Like I won't deny that. I think it's totally a smart move.
Yeah, I mean,
Like what happened with
it
that?
sticks it to the label, which is
It's-
cool.
yeah, but it sucks to
unfortunately,
the artist.
byproduct is the artist gets kind of
Yeah.
stuck to. But
It's just funny when like Lars does get on his like high horse and he's like, "What you are doing is highly illegal," and it's like,
and
okay,
don't get me
dude.
started about the morality of it. I thought
Yeah,
that was funny.
don't get me started. Oh, okay, dude. All right, Lars, we won't because I don't really care about your opinions on morality. But
Let's go play your
it's
four
just
on the
like,
floor.
yeah, you know what I mean. It's like go talk about stock drum beats later down the line in your career.
Shitty art collection. But,
Yeah, 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 man. Shit.
And Jewel was the only woman they can get from that. They couldn't get Sheryl Crow or Lance Morissette. I don't think they're doing anything. What the fuck?
Guess not. Yeah, Jewel, the least iconic.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I
Yeah.
like Jewel at all, but yeah, man, I'm good. Like,
Yeah. Least iconic.
I mean, Jewel wasn't God in Dogma,
Yeah. Jeez.
So I guess that makes the documentary somewhat misogynistic then.
Yeah.
Because they filled their quota of having one woman in one documentary.
Yeah,
right?
that is true.
So there you go.
Yeah. Although they did have a lot of fans.
There's one female fan.
I thought there was two.
Oh,
Was it
there was two.
that
The one that
blonde
left
girl?
early and then started the message board.
Yeah.
That's right. And then there was the journalist too.
Yeah. Which, like, also, no, don't need that.
Yeah, the journalist aspect. I'm assuming that they all work for the Ringer, and that's why.
Yeah.
Those people are in there because that one dude does.
Okay.
Is it Wesley?
I don't know. I don't remember any of their names.
Oh,
You're like a savant at that, dude. You got to realize I don't got that kind of brain.
you don't know names?
No.
They put him on the TV.
I don't remember him, man. I see it once. I got to
Well,
see it.
I only know that one guy because of the Ringer podcast.
Sure, obviously you do.
I don't know
Yeah.
the other 2-3 journalists they had in that. I mean, they spoke well. Like, I give them that.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it
they're
was
journalists,
fine.
so like,
Yeah.
they
It was interesting.
avoided
It was a great
talking at the
documentary. I liked it.
Yeah, as much as I'm complaining now, I think it was still a great documentary for
Yeah.
sure. I'm curious to see, what the following episodes are.
I
going
want
to
to see
about.
Fred Durst beat Moby's ass.
Probably still, you probably do it now. I think. But have you seen the new
probably
Fred
not.
Durst look?
Yeah, the stupid wig and shit.
Yeah. The little handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the meme that came from it where everybody kept showing the picture of the guy from Blink-182 from the music video.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
it already happened. Like,
I forgot about that. Yeah, from
that was a good joke.
what song has had that? Blink First Date. The
Is that
First
what
Date
it
music
is?
video. Yeah, where he's wearing the blonde wig.
Yeah.
Good at fucking song.
So at least we got a good meme out of it.
Yeah.
All right, what say you? Shall we call it?
I say let's call it.
Well, September 4th, we're playing Empty Bottle.
We sure as fuck are. You've
Come on
heard
up.
it. We've already left the details on many an episode.
I'm going to say it every time until the show happens.
Are you going to list all the bands?
Nope.
Okay.
You going to list all the bands?
No, I wasn't. That's why I said we list all the details on previous episodes.
You just need to know the date, guys. It's good enough.
Yeah.
You can do a Google search.
Tell you what, guess how much money is in this fucking wallet and
Fingers crossed the show happens. I'm quasi getting a
Yeah.
little nervous about things, but we'll see. I hope so.
I think we'll make it till then.
Think so?
Yeah.
I hope so.
I think if we don't make it till then, it'll be right after then. It'll be like last time we played that show in March and then there was that shutdown in April.
Something is Waiting was the night before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might
so-
happen again. Who knows?
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, September 4th, Empty Bottle. It's us and the Company Serpents and Hive. I said them.
Nice.
Cool. All right. So yeah, I'll see you sooner than later. We'll see everybody else next week.
Yes, we will. See you guys.
Goodbye, Kane and Y2K Bug.
Bye, guys.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out this week's episode. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Feel free to drop us a like or a comment on whatever platform you listen or watch us on. Share us on whatever social media you use. Every little bit counts, so we appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next week.